Chapter 999. The young master's mercenary group had arrived. What's going on? The Amethyst mercenary group actually beat up the captain of Tornado for the sake of that freshman. I don't know. But now, it seems that Wang Xian has hooked up with the Amethyst mercenary group. Captain Zhang seemed to have mentioned that Wang Xian had helped them on the Thunder Island. Now that the Amethyst mercenary group is actually protecting Wang Xian, doesn't that mean that they are going to be enemies with the young master's mercenary group? This is complicated. Who would have thought that the brat has such a good relationship with the Amethyst mercenary group? I wonder what the young master's mercenary group will do. After sweeping a glance at everyone around him, Deputy Chief Xiao sat down. The group of people from the mercenary group immediately returned to their seats. They looked over from time to time and discussed in low voices. With the Amethyst mercenary group around, they didn't dare to discuss loudly for fear of offending the Amethyst mercenary group. Everyone looked at the Tornado mercenary group with a hint of sympathy in their eyes. Who would have thought that the freshmen would be protected by the Amethyst mercenary group in such a manner? Baba. Beside them, the leader of the Tornado mercenary group, who was lying on the ground, spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. He stood up with an embarrassed expression. He looked at Wang Xian, who was chatting with Zhang Yi. His expression was as though he had eaten a dead rat. Leader, what? What should we do now? A young man asked with fear in his eyes. Earlier on, Amethyst said that she would teach them a lesson in the wild. However, it was definitely not a joke. If they met each other outside, they would definitely be in trouble. Even if there were 10 tornadoes, they would not be a match for one Amethyst. Let's go. The expression of the leader of the tornadoes kept changing. He gritted his teeth, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and walked out. Bang! Are you courting death? Watch out. Just as they reached the entrance, they almost bumped into a group of people. A youth wearing a black hat coldly berated them. Beside the youth wearing the hat was a youth with a somewhat demonic appearance. The youth's face was extremely fair. His body also gave off an enchanting feeling. His pair of triangular eyes flickered with a vicious luster. I'm sorry, Commander Snake. We were careless. Commander Tornado's expression changed slightly when he saw the group of people in front of him. He hurriedly lowered his head and said, "That bewitching youth didn't say anything and directly walked inside." Commander Tornado's expression changed when he saw the group of people from his young master's mercenary group enter. His eyes flickered. "Commander, let's go." A young man beside him whispered, "Let's go back." Captain Tornado gritted his teeth and turned around. Captain." The members of the Tornado mercenary group looked at him in astonishment. Captain Tornado didn't take a deep breath. When he saw the young master's mercenary group enter and sit down, he walked straight over. In the banquet hall, when everyone saw the arrival of the young master's mercenary group, they also looked toward Wang Xian's position, intentionally or unintentionally. The Amethyst mercenary group is here. Xia Homing and the rest are not here yet. The group of young master Wang Xian's mercenary group sat on the empty seats in the middle. The young man wearing a hat scanned the surroundings and said calmly, "If we work together for the mission in the Dragon Wind region this time, there should be a lot of rewards." The devilish young man fiddled with the ring in his hand and said calmly, "Captain Snake." At this moment, the captain of the Tornado mercenary group and a group of members walked over and greeted respectfully. The devilish young man took a sip of his wine and looked at them expressionlessly. "Captain Snake, the new Wang Xian is over there." The captain of the Tornado mercenary group saw the devilish young man's expression and pointed to the side as he spoke. The devilish young man's eyes suddenly narrowed when he heard his words. A murderous and emotionless glint flashed across his eyes as he stood up immediately. "Wang Xian. He's here." The rest of the young master's mercenary group raised their eyebrows and stood up with cold eyes. "Captain Snake, that Wang Xian has a very good relationship with the Amethyst mercenary group. I was punched by Vice Captain Xiao just now." Captain Tornado said hurriedly. "Oh." The devilish young man revealed a surprised expression. He looked at the members of the Amethyst mercenary group. When his gaze landed on Wang Xian, he chuckled and walked over. Captain Snake has gone over. It must be because of that Wang Xian. I wonder if there will be a conflict. When the group of people saw the young master's mercenary group walking over, they looked over. Wang Xian was chatting with the tall and beautiful lady beside him. He saw a group of people walking over with an unfriendly expression. When he saw the badges on their chests, Wang Xian understood. Leader, the people from the young master's mercenary group are here. Let's do it. Zhang Yitian's expression didn't change. He looked at Wang Xian and said, Leader Wang, leave the matter to us later. The Amethyst mercenary group knew Wang Xian's strength. He was an extraordinary level 7 powerhouse. The young master's mercenary group was no match for him alone. However, they also knew that if they were to fight to the death, Wang Xian was still no match for them. Their background was too strong. Wang Xian nodded with a smile and poured himself a glass of wine. Captain Zhang. The group of people from the young master's mercenary group walked over. The devilish young man looked at Wang Xian and landed his gaze on Zhang Yitian. He shouted with a smile. Captain Snake, let me introduce you. This is our friend from the Amethyst mercenary group, Wang Xian. Zhang Yitian nodded and directly expressed his relationship with Wang Xian. His meaning was self-evident. I'm also here to check on this student Wang Xian. I wonder if he has 3 heads and 6 arms, and dares to go against our young master's mercenary group. The corner of the devilish young man's mouth curled up slightly as he stared at Wang Xian. Student Wang is a friend of our Amethyst mercenary group. If you have any grudges, please give me, Zhang Yitian, some face and let it go. Zhang Yitian stood up directly, picked up the wine cup on the seat, looked at him and said, Captain Zhang, you should know that no one can live well after losing the face of our young master's mercenary group. The devilish young man didn't move. He stared at Wang Xian with a faint smile on his face. Upon hearing his words, Wang Xian smiled instead. He raised the wine glass in his hand and gestured at him before taking a sip with a smile. Could it be that the young master's mercenary group doesn't even give him face? Zhang Yitian looked at him and said without showing any signs of weakness. The ranking of the Amethyst mercenary group in the academy was higher than that of the young master's mercenary group. In terms of background, Zhang Yitian was not afraid of the leader of the young master's mercenary group. Naturally, he would not show any signs of fear. This is not a matter of not giving face to leader Zhang. He must die. The devilish young man said calmly. No one can stop him. Whoever dares to stop him is the enemy of our young master's mercenary group. It seems that the young master's mercenary group is going to become the enemy of our Amethyst mercenary group. Zhang Yitian heard his words and stared at him expressionlessly as he said. They were tit for tat and didn't give in at all. Chapter 1000 is going to be your enemy. Hiss. The atmosphere in the banquet turned heavy. The surrounding students took in a breath of cold air when they saw this scene. The Amethyst mercenary group was actually willing to become enemies with young master's mercenary group for the sake of that freshman. When the devilish youth heard Zhang Yitian's words, the expression on his face changed slightly and sank. Yin Hanhai and a few members of my young master's mercenary group are still missing because of him. My young master's mercenary group will not let him off. Otherwise, others will think that we are easy to bully. The devilish youth stared at Zhang Yitian and said in a deep voice. Yin Hanhai's whereabouts are still unknown. You can't blame others. Zhang Yitian frowned slightly and said, This is your own matter. Don't blame others. I, Snake Mark, have promised Master Yin that no matter if Yin Hanhai is dead or alive, this kid will die. Snake Mark's body slowly emitted a faint killing intent, and his voice became cold. Zhang Yitian's expression slightly changed when he heard this. Snake Mark picked up a glass of wine on the table. He slowly shook his head. Yun Hanhai is not only the vice leader of my young master's mercenary group, but also the most outstanding disciple of the Yin family. This matter is not something that you, Zhang Yitian, can stop. Zhang Yitian's expression kept changing. The faces of the girls from the Amethyst mercenary group around him were also a little embarrassed. The Yun family was not something that their academy's mercenary group could compare to. That was a very powerful family in the entire Eastern Sea City. If they really vented their anger on Wang Xian because of the incident with Yin Han Hai, they would not be able to do anything about it. What happened at the banquet? I don't know. Why does it seem like the young master's mercenary group and the Amethyst mercenary group are in a standoff? Could it be that Snake Mark is causing trouble? At this moment, more than 30 people walked into the banquet. The young man in the middle looked ordinary. There was an inch-long scar on his face. The scar was very obvious. It was obvious that he had been injured not too long ago. The group of people walked over with curious expressions. Their gazes swept over, and they smiled. Come, let's watch a show. The scar-faced youth crossed his arms and looked at them with curious expressions. When the surrounding students saw them arrive, their faces revealed respectful expressions. Leader Senior, it's him. Suddenly, the youth beside him hurriedly pulled the scar-faced youth's arm and said with an excited expression, "What senior?" The scar-faced youth glared at the youth beside him and slightly raised his head to glance at him. However, it was this glance that caused his expression to stiffen. He couldn't help but widen his eyes and use his hand to wipe his face. It's him, it's really him. The scarred youth muttered and couldn't help but touch the scar on his face. This was the scar left behind 5 days ago in the wilderness. At that time, he and the members of the mercenary group were preparing to hunt the cloud clams. But they didn't expect that things would go beyond their expectations. The entire aerial beast mercenary group had almost been wiped out. If it wasn't for the sudden appearance of that young expert, who wiped out the group of extraordinary rank 6 cloud clams with a wave of his arm, they would have died long ago. What he didn't expect was to meet his savior, and that senior here. However, this senior seemed to be. His expression changed as his eyes flickered. The group of young men around him also stared at Wang Xian with their eyes wide open. Even if it's not something that our financial mercenary group can stop, we still have to give it a try. Zhang Etienne's face darkened as he spoke to Snake Mark. All right. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being ruthless. Let me state my words here today. Whoever dares to protect this kid will be the enemy of my young master's mercenary group. Once they become enemies, I, Snake Mark, will make them pay a heavy price. Snake Mark pointed at Wang Xian and glared at Zhang Etienne with a face full of killing intent. When the surrounding members saw that Snake Mark was completely enraged, they were terrified. A furious Snake Mark was capable of doing anything. With the rich financial resources of the young master's mercenary group, he might hire assassins to attack directly in the city. When the scarred young man saw Snake Mark pointing his finger at Wang Xian, his expression changed instantly as he stared at him gloomily. Pay a heavy price? I would like to see how you will pay a heavy price for becoming your enemy. The scarred youth pushed aside the bodies of the youths in front of him and walked straight inside. Behind him, a group of members of the Void Beast mercenary group followed behind, their gazes fixed on the members of Young Master's mercenary group. Oh, what's going on? FUCK, the Void Beast mercenary group is here. What is Commander Xia Hongming trying to do? When the surrounding people saw the Void Beast mercenary group suddenly joining in, they felt a little dizzy. The Void Beast mercenary group was ranked second in the Demon Hunter College, and its strength was even stronger than Amethyst. Its leader, Xia Hongming, was the son of a diamond-ranked mercenary group leader in East Sea City. His strength was formidable, and his talent was terrifying. Xia Hongming was a very loyal person, and he had a group of brothers following him. However, why did the Void Beast mercenary group join in? Could it be that they wanted a hero to support a beauty? If you want to touch my ex, big brother, you have to go through me first. Why? Does your young master's mercenary group want to be enemies with us Void Beasts as well? Xia Hongming walked towards Wang Xian and smiled at him. He turned around and stared at Snake Trace as he asked coldly. You? Snake Trace's expression changed drastically when he saw Xia Hongming, who suddenly appeared. He growled in a low voice. Xia Homing, this matter has nothing to do with you. How could it have nothing to do with me? The matter of my big brother is my matter. Whoever dares to touch him will become our Void Beast mercenary group's enemy. That's right. Whoever dares to touch our big brother will become our enemy. Behind him, a few members of the Void Beast mercenary group shouted angrily. They were full of loyalty. Oh my God. Why did the Void Beast mercenary group step out to help that freshman? Big brother? How does Xia Homing address a freshman as big brother? Could he be a relative? The Amethyst mercenary group was willing to make enemies with young master's mercenary group for his sake. And now the Void Beast mercenary group is also doing the same. The Academy's second and third ranked mercenary group is making a move at the same time. Who else would dare to provoke him? Snake Mark's devilish white face began to change color, and his eyes were filled with fury. An Amethyst mercenary group had already made him feel extremely troubled. Now another Void Beast mercenary group had appeared. What was the relationship between them and this brat? How could he make the massive amount mercenary group not hesitate to make an enemy out of them? Zhang Yitian and the group of Amethyst mercenary group girls looked at Xia Homing in astonishment. Why did he also stand up for Wang Xian? Could it be that they knew each other before? There was a high possibility. The group of girls thought to themselves and smiled. They raised their heads and stared at the group of people from the young master's mercenary group with a smile. Wang Xian watched this scene with an indifferent expression. When he saw the group of people who suddenly appeared, he was a little puzzled. Who are they? They didn't seem to know each other. Chapter 1001. People were killed by me. The expressions of the young master's mercenary group changed drastically. Snake Scar stared at the members of the Void Beast mercenary group and the Amethyst mercenary group with a gloomy expression. If these two mercenary groups really wanted to become enemies with them and protect that new student, he really didn't dare to make a move. The Amethyst and Void Beast strength was enough to make their young master's mercenary group unable to move an inch. But in front of so many people, if they let that kid go, wouldn't it be a huge humiliation in the future? The surrounding Demon Hunters Academy looked at this scene with their mouths agape. They never would have thought that a freshman would actually be able to make the two large mercenary groups of the Academy act to protect him. With the Amethyst and Void Beast around, who would dare to bully him? Good. Zhang Yitian Xiahou Ming, you are clearly making our young master's mercenary group embarrassed, right? Today's matter, Snake Mark will remember it. Snake Mark's face was gloomy as he glared at them with a pair of triangular eyes. This made Zhang Yitian and Xia Homing smile in disdain. Brat, just you wait. Don't think that just because you have the protection of the Amethyst mercenary group and the Void Beast mercenary group, I can't do anything to you. Snake Mark saw their expressions and felt even more embarrassed. He stared at Wang Xian and growled. Hee, a bunch of trash. I would like to know what you guys have up your sleeves. Wang Xian, who had been silent all this while, heard what he said and said in a slightly mocking tone. He didn't expect that he would dare to mock him. His expression changed drastically as he stared at Wang Xian. Just you wait. I, Snake Hen, will not be human until I kill you. A ferocious growl was heard, causing the hearts of the people around them to turn cold. They looked at Wang Xian with a strange expression. You said that you were mocking Snake Mark at this moment and making him lose face. Aren't you going to fight to the death with him? Now that the Amethyst and Void Beast had made a move, could it be that he would be with them every day? Isn't he courting death on purpose? That's right, he is totally provoking Snake Mark. No matter what, Snake Mark is a very famous figure in the Demon Hunters Academy and even the East Sea City. It's too unwise. If he doesn't say such words of provocation, Snake Mark might really not dare to touch him in the future. But now, if Snake Mark doesn't take revenge in the future, he will become the laughingstock of many people. The surrounding students looked at Wang Xian, who didn't seem to care, and shook their heads slowly. If he didn't seek death, he wouldn't die. Snake Mark stared at Wang Xian with a face full of killing intent. Snake Mark had never suffered such humiliation before. After being provoked by a freshman, even if he had two large mercenary groups behind him, he wouldn't let it go. Everyone wanted a face. When the people from Amethyst Mercenary Group and Void Beast Mercenary Group saw Wang Xian's provocation, they smiled slightly. They knew Wang Xian's strength. So what if he provoked a young master's mercenary group? The bunch of fellows who came to kill me the last time are already dead. Welcome to send yourselves to your deaths. However, Wang Xian opened his mouth and said something that caused the entire banquet to fall into dead silence. When he finished his sentence with a smile on his face, everyone's breathing stopped. Even the members of the Amethyst Mercenary Group and the Void Beast Mercenary Group stared at Wang Xian with their eyes wide open in shock. What? Yun Hanhai was killed by you? A ray of light shot out from Snake Scar's eyes as he glared at Wang Xian and roared loudly. Everyone around him was dumbfounded. What was this Wang Xian doing? Was he courting death? He actually said that Yun Hanhai and the rest were killed by him. Regardless of whether this matter was true or false, this Wang Xian was definitely doomed. The death of Yun Hanhai not only involved the young master's mercenary group, but also the Yun family. Once the Yun family found out that the future successor of the Yun family was killed by a student, they would definitely take revenge crazily. So what if I killed them? Wang Xian smiled faintly and swept his gaze across the young master's mercenary group. I just killed a bunch of trash. You. Alright. Snake Scar didn't know what to say at this moment. He extended his finger and pointed at him. His arm was trembling slightly. You're dead. You're dead. Hee. Wang Xian smiled faintly at the side and didn't seem to mind. You've said this sentence many times already. You'll know the consequences very soon. Snake Mark's eyes were a little red. He shouted coldly and walked out with a face full of anger. Zhang Etian Xia Homing, this matter is not something that you guys can participate in anymore. Don't dig your own grave. Snake Mark's voice was heard, causing the young master's mercenary group and the Void Beast mercenary group to show an embarrassed look. They looked at Wang Xian with a helpless look in their eyes. Why did you say that you killed Yun Hanhai and his men? They died in the wilderness. Without evidence, the young master's mercenary group wouldn't dare to take revenge on the Amethyst and Void Beast mercenary groups. Now, he directly said that he was the one who killed Yun Hanhai and his men. Then this matter wasn't something that they could withstand. Captain Wang Yu. Zhang Etian opened his mouth and said helplessly as he looked at Wang Xian. He really didn't know what to say after that. They knew that Wang Xian was very strong, but could he compete with the power behind the young master's mercenary group? Could he compete with the Yin family? Big brother, I think you should stay in Donghai City for the time being. Or go to another town. Xia Homing hesitated for a moment before he said to him. Wang Xian didn't take Snake Scar and the rest to heart. He looked at the group of people who had suddenly appeared, and a hint of doubt flashed across his eyes. Thank you for your help earlier. However, do I know you all? When the students around heard Wang Xian's words, the corners of their mouths couldn't help but twitch as they stared at him with widened eyes. The group of girls from the Amethyst mercenary group also looked over in astonishment. What? They didn't know each other. Xia Homing was also slightly taken aback. He didn't expect that the other party had saved them 2 days ago. They had no idea who they had saved, and didn't even remember them. This made him speechless. It turned out that the other party didn't care about them at all that day. Big brother, 5 days ago in the thunderstorm area. Oh, I got it. The group of people from Cloud Clam? Wang Xian was enlightened and interrupted him. Yes. I really have to thank you for that day, big brother. Otherwise, we might not have been able to return. Xia Homing nodded his head quickly and said gratefully. It was nothing. Wang Xian shook his head lightly. Captain Xia, Captain Wang, let's sit down and talk. Zhang Etian took a look at his surroundings, and the students quickly returned to their seats. Only the members of the Tornado Mercenary Group walked out with a drastic change in expression. The incident just now had a huge impact on him. But this time, even if that kid has 3 heads and 6 arms, he will still be finished. The captain of the Tornado mercenary group took a deep breath and thought to himself with a solemn face. Chapter 1002, Diamond Level Mission. May I know what kind of mission leader Zhang is referring to when he invited me over? The Amethyst mercenary group and the Harp mercenary group sat down. All of them looked at Wang Xian and didn't know what to say for a moment. They really didn't know how to reply to Wang Xian, who was so powerful and unpredictable. They felt a little awkward. Wang Xian looked at them with a smile and asked directly. Wang Xian had a good impression of the girls in the Amethyst mercenary group. This seemingly ordinary Xia Homing dared to speak directly and made an enemy out of the young master's mercenary group. Their actions also made Wang Xian have a good impression of him. Mission. Xia Homing took a look at Zhang Yitian and asked, "The mission in the Dragon Wind region?" "Yes." Zhang Yitian nodded and looked at Wang Xian. "Commander Wang, the main purpose of this gathering is to discuss the mission of the demon beasts in the Dragon Wind region." As she spoke, she took out a document and handed it to Wang Xian. "There is a race of demon beasts in the Dragon Wind region, the Wind-Wing Savage Fish. This is a very powerful race. The demon beasts of this race are bloodthirsty by nature. For years ago, they controlled other ferocious beasts and started a monster siege in Donghai City. At that time, it was fortunate that the city lord of the East Sea City and the other experts discovered it in time. They moved out together and killed all the experts of the Wind-Winged Savage Fish." As Zhang Yitian spoke, Wang Xian revealed a curious expression on his face. "Is the mission related to this Wind-Winged Savage Fish?" Wang Xian asked curiously. He had only seen demon beasts once in the wilderness, when he came to the extraordinary mainland. They were cunning and intelligent. They were much more difficult to deal with than ferocious beasts. A demon beast race. Just like humans, they have their own territory and their own nest. The same goes for the Wind-Winged Savage Fish demon beasts. The Demon Hunters Academy has a file on the Wind-Winged Savage Fish. Back then, after the lords of the Eastern Sea City killed the top-tier demon beasts of the Wind-Winged Savage Fish race, they sent people to the nest of the Wind-Winged Savage Fish. However, they didn't find anything there, not even a single Wind-Winged Savage Fish. Later, a mercenary group went to the territory of the Wind-Winged Savage Fish with the hope of getting lucky, but they didn't come back. According to some news in the past few years, some scholars speculated that the demon beast race of the Wind-Winged Savage Fish still existed, but there were no more powerful Wind-Winged Savage Fish there. Once an expert went to their nest, they would immediately run away, and if they were weak, they would be killed by the Wind-Winged Savage Fish. In order to prevent this cunning demonic beast race from harming Donghai City when they grow up, the mercenary group has always had a one-star diamond mission to eliminate the Wind-Winged Savage Fish. Zhang Yintian continued to speak to Wang Xian. Wang Xian nodded slowly, looking at the information on the Wind-Winged Savage Fish. He asked in puzzlement, "Is this mission not too different from the other missions?" "Commander Wang, the Wind-Winged Savage Fish used to be a very powerful demonic beast race. After the top-tier demonic beasts were killed, the remaining ones were all weak. However, all the treasures in the demonic beast race are in the hands of these weak demonic beasts." As Zhang Yitian spoke, his eyes lit up. A race with 4 to 5 extraordinary level 9 demonic beasts must have extremely rich treasures. If we can exterminate the Wind-Winged Savage Fish race, not only will we be able to complete the mission, but we will also be able to obtain a huge treasure. This mission is not something that other missions can compare to. Xia Homing's eyes lit up as he said. The mission in the Dragon Wind region was a mission that all the mercenary groups wanted to complete. The treasure trove of a top-tier demonic beast clan was even richer than that of a top-tier clan in Donghai City. Is that so? Wang Xian's heart was moved. Treasure trove. If he could really obtain a treasure trove, then the members of the Dragon Palace and his abilities would be greatly enhanced. Yes, the entire East Sea City knows about this mission, but it's very difficult. Once the powerful mercenary groups pass by, the crafty Wind-Winged Savage Fish will quickly escape, and the weak mercenary groups will be destroyed by them. This is also because the level of the demon beasts isn't high, and the mission is diamond level. After some students of our Demon Hunter College checked the information, they found that once an expert above rank 7 Extraordinary Realm appeared on this mission, the other party would run away, and anyone below rank 7 Extraordinary Realm would be killed. We are preparing to team up with some powerful mercenary groups from the Academy and ask them to find some experts to head to the territory of the wind-winged savage fish together. Zhang Yuntian said to Wang Xian. Form a team to complete the mission together? Wang Xian looked at them and asked curiously. It's not a team. We can also split up and act independently. If we split up, we can also split up the strength of the wind-winged savage fish and reduce the danger. As for who can obtain the treasure, it will depend on our strength and luck. Zhang Yitian shook his head. When do we set off? Wang Xian pondered for a moment and asked directly. Commander Wang, do you agree to do this mission with us? Zhang Yitian asked in pleasant surprise. Although they didn't know Wang Xian's strength, he should be at level 7 of the supernatural realm. They were in need of such an expert. Of course we'll go. Wang Xian nodded his head. Captain Zhang, big brother, why don't we go together? This way, we can take care of each other and distribute the treasures according to our respective strengths? Xia Homing suggested from the side. Zhang Yitian looked at him and then at Wang Xian. It's up to you guys to decide. I don't care. Wang Xian said to Zhang Yitian. This matter was invited by the Amethyst mercenary group. It wasn't appropriate for him to make his own decision. It would be much more convenient to go with them. At the very least, he didn't need to look through a lot of information. It would be much more convenient to know from them. Sure, Commander Xiahou. Please send someone to ask the other mercenary groups if they want to go to the territory of the wind-winged savage fish demon beasts. However, after they get there, they have to act on their own. Zhang Yitian nodded and said to Xia Homing. All right, I'll go and ask them immediately. Xia Homing nodded. He looked at Wang Xian and hesitated for a moment. Brother, are you sure you want to leave the city? Where is the Yin family? Don't worry. We have agreed on a location outside the city. When the time comes, I'll look for you guys. They won't notice me. Wang Xian smiled. He told the young master's mercenary group that it was Wang Xian who intentionally said that Yin Hanhai and the rest were killed by him. Since this young master's mercenary group wanted to kill him, he would let them come over. Coincidentally, he was currently in dire need of spirit stones. If they came to kill him, they would be able to send him a lot of spirit stones. As for the Yun family, which had a transcendent level 9 status, it was also part of his plan. The Yun family was one of the top families in East Sea City. Now that the dragon spike had arrived, it was only natural for them to become famous. He would use the Yun family to increase the reputation of the dragon spike. Chapter 1003, Sensational Demon Hunters Academy. The Void Beast Mercenary Group and Amethyst Mercenary Group, the two second and third ranked mercenary groups of the Demon Hunters Academy, came out to protect him. They could make sure that the young master mercenary group wouldn't dare to offend him in the future. However, Wang Xian still said that Yun Hanhai was killed by him in the end. This was the reason. This time, it wasn't because he was arrogant. It was because he had thought it through carefully. Commander Wang, we will set off directly at noon tomorrow. When the time comes, we will contact each other through the communication stone plate. Please be careful. When they walked out of the Demon Hunter Manor, Zhang Yitian and Xia Homing reminded Wang Xian. Don't worry. Wang Xian smiled and nodded. Then he walked towards their residence. Zhang Yitian, Xia Homing, and the rest of the two mercenary groups looked at Wang Xian's back with sparkling eyes. Leader Zhu Ho, how did you know Leader Wang? Seeing the figure disappear, Zhang Yitian looked at Xia Homing and asked curiously. He saved the life of our Void Beast mercenary group. If it wasn't for him, I would have died. Xia Homing smiled and looked at the girls beside him. What about you guys? He saved more than 10 of us. Deputy Commander Shao chimed in from the side. His strength is really abnormal. He might be able to succeed in this mission. However, as Xia Homing spoke, he recalled that he had personally said that he had killed Yin Hanhai and the rest. A hesitant look appeared on his face. He shouldn't. Zhang Yitian and the rest of the girls frowned slightly. A contemplative look appeared on their faces. They were very surprised when Wang Xian said that he had killed Yin Hanhai and the rest. Could it be that this Wang Xian was really courting death? I hope he has his own thoughts. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for us to help him. Xia Homing said helplessly. He shook his head and bade farewell to Zhang Yitian before leaving. Let's go too. Zhang Yitian said to the group of girls behind him. His tall and swaying body walked towards the academy. Is it really that Wang Xian who killed Haier? At this moment, in a manor in the central area of Donghai City, a middle-aged man shouted with a face full of killing intent. Beside him, a table was completely shattered. His eyes were blood-red, causing everyone in the hall to lower their heads and not dare to look into his eyes. Snake Scar, who was standing in front of the middle-aged man, faced the middle-aged man. His face was slightly pale as he said, "It's Uncle." He admitted it himself today. Many people present heard it. A new student of the Demon Hunters Academy has the ability to kill me, Haier. The middle-aged man's face was a little ferocious. He clenched his fists tightly, and his whole body was exuding a cold murderous aura. Whether it's him or not, he must die. All his relatives must die. Uncle, I, Snake Mark, will avenge Brother Yin. No matter how big the price is, I will kill that kid. Snake Mark lowered his head and said with a gloomy face, "Get out." The middle-aged man ignored Snake Mark and said coldly, "Yes, Uncle." Snake Mark was slightly stunned and walked out with a gloomy face. "Wang Xian, you are dead meat." Snake Mark squinted his eyes, and a sinister light flashed. "Leader." Just as Snake Mark walked out of the Yin family, a group of young Masters mercenary group members walked over. "Leader, according to the information we received, the Sky Beast and Amethyst will head to the Windwing Rampant Fish's territory in the Dragon Wind region tomorrow to prepare for the diamond-level mission." A young man carefully looked at the gloomy Snake Mark and said, "Yes." Snake Mark coldly nodded. "We suspect that that kid might go." The youth continued. "He still dares to leave the city." Snake Mark's eyes revealed a vicious light, causing the youth to be startled. "Send someone to personally watch that guy." Snake Mark's expression darkened as he hesitated. "Commander, the Amethyst and Void Beast mercenary group is protecting him now." A youth said hesitantly. "If anyone dares to protect him, the Yin family will exterminate them without us taking action." Snake Mark thought of the Amethyst and the Void Beast. He snorted coldly and walked straight to the front. The young men from the Young Masters mercenary group beside him were slightly stunned and immediately followed behind. At this moment, on the Demon Hunters Academy's forum, the news of Wang Xian killing Yin Hanhai and the rest had spread like wildfire. The incident at the banquet today had also been exposed. When the group of young men from the Demon Hunters Academy found out about this news, they were all shocked. Why would the Amethyst mercenary group and the Void Beast mercenary group protect that Wang Xian? Especially the Amethyst mercenary group. Don't they have a grudge against Wang Xian? Oh my god, is this Wang Xian reckless? He actually said that he killed Yin Hanhai and the rest. Now, even the Amethyst and Void Beasts can't save him. The Yin family will definitely make a move. Even if this kid has 10 lives, it's still not enough for him to die. This is really unexpected. If he didn't say that he killed Yin Hanhai and the rest, no one would dare to provoke him in the Demon Hunters Academy in the future. Now he actually said it out stupidly. With his strength, how could he kill Yin Hanhai and the rest of the powerhouses? Now that he has said that, regardless of whether he killed them or not, the Yin family will get rid of him. Everyone in the academy was dumbfounded. This was the first time they had seen such a suicidal person. Even the instructors of the academy knew about this matter. All of them frowned and shook their heads slowly. Anyone would have to pay a heavy price for killing the future heir of the Yin family in Donghai City. Wang Xian did not pay attention to the matter in the academy's forum. Instead, He looked at the information that Zhang Etian had given him. I hope I can get a good harvest this time. Wang Xian held the lightning strike wood in his hand as he thought to himself. The next morning, Wang Xian brought Ao Jian and the rest out of the city. Sensing the gazes behind him, he smiled. After leaving the city, Wang Xian easily shook them off. Where are they? 5 minutes later, a middle-aged man scanned the surroundings with a sullen face. He took out his communication stone plate and sent a message with an embarrassed expression. They're here. At the edge of the ocean, which was 30 kilometers away from the East Gate, a group of people stood by the seaside. Their eyes were fixed on Wang Xian and the rest who were flying towards them. They're half an hour late. In the middle of the Amethyst mercenary group, a woman beside the tall Zhang Yuntian said with slight dissatisfaction. The woman's height was comparable to Zhang Yishan's. However, her figure was even more fiery than Zhang Yishan's. Her curvy figure could almost make people explode on the spot. If it wasn't for the fact that there was no plastic surgery on the Transcendence continent, almost everyone would think that she had such a fiery figure after plastic surgery. The woman's appearance was somewhat similar to Zhang Yishan's, but it was much more familiar. Aunt, he is the benefactor of our mercenary group. He is very strong. Don't say anything later. Zhang Yishan looked at the woman and reminded her. A kid actually has such strength. I want to see what kind of bloodline he has. The woman crossed her arms and felt like she was holding a huge ball. She looked over curiously. Chapter 1004. Listen to my command. Beside the Amethyst mercenary group, there was an old man standing next to Xia Homing. Elder Zeng, this is our savior. If it wasn't for him last time, we would have died long ago. Xia Homing introduced to the old man beside him. Oh, I've never heard of such a monstrous student in the Demon Hunters Academy. The old man looked curiously at the group of people flying towards them. New student, his strength is really abnormal. Back then, he killed more than a dozen cloud clams that were at Transcendent level 6 in one move. Xia Homing said with a face full of admiration. He's so strong and so young. I wonder which bloodline family's disciple he is from. The old man said slowly. Regardless of whether it was the woman with an explosive figure or the old man, they all believed that Wang Xian had a powerful bloodline. Otherwise, it was impossible for an ordinary person to reach Transcendent level 7 at this age when they were cultivating. There was no such monster in the entire continent. It was highly possible for him to have a powerful bloodline. The prince of the royal family of the Draconid Empire on the continent had the strength of a Transcendent level 7 or 8 at such a young age. From their point of view, Wang Xian must have a powerful bloodline. I hope he has a powerful background. Otherwise, the Yun family will take revenge. Xia Homing sighed slightly. I'm sorry everyone, I'm late. Wang Xian looked at the group of people and said apologetically as he landed on the ground. He swept his gaze across the group of people and was slightly surprised. There were two extraordinary level 7 powerhouses, a lady with a terrifying figure and an old man. His eyes subconsciously paused on the lady with a better figure. The figure of this lady reminded him of the exaggerated figures of the girls in the anime. This was too explosive. I didn't see any embarrassment on your face. The lady saw Wang Xian's expression and said coldly. Shall we set off now? Wang Xian smiled and said to Zhang Etian, Xia and Homing. Let's go, Captain Wang. This is my aunt Zhang Fengying. This is Elder Zeng. For this mission, let's go together. Zhang Etian tugged at his aunt's clothes and introduced her to Wang Xian. Hello, my name is Wang Xian. Wang Xian nodded. Zhang Fengying sized up Wang Xian as a green light flashed in her eyes. Transcendent level 5. There's also a group of Transcendent level 5 people behind him? Zhang Fengying narrowed her eyes slightly and said to Zhang Etian. No, that's impossible. Leader Wang's strength. Zhang Etian was a little stunned. However, when he saw the green light in his aunt's eyes, he was stunned again. Aunt, how can Leader Wang's strength be at Transcendent level 5? When he was seriously injured, He could kill 4 to 5 experts at Transcendent Level 6 with a single move. Deputy Commander Xiao was slightly taken aback and said in disbelief, "Call me Sister Ing, don't call me old." Zhang Fengying heard her words and waved her hand. This made Deputy Commander Xiao slightly embarrassed. This, Sister Ing. Commander Wang killed more than a dozen ferocious beasts at Transcendent Level 6 with a single move back then. How can he be at Transcendent Level 5? Xia Homing shook his head in disbelief. Looks like your bloodline is better at concealing your strength. Zhang Fengying glanced at Wang Xian with interest. This made him slightly stunned. He felt that this woman with an extremely good figure was a little narcissistic. The Amethyst mercenary group had 20 members this time. The weakest among them was at level 5, and there were also 5 at level 6. The strength of the Void Beast mercenary group was similar to that of the Amethyst mercenary group. The same strength should be used to distribute treasures. The mission of the Wind-Wing Savage Fish Demon Beast was an official mission of East Sea City. It was not a special mission of the Demon Hunter Academy. This mission allowed 10 mercenary groups to complete it together. Let's go. When the time comes, everyone listen to my orders. Zhang Fengying looked around like a big sister and said to everyone, "With Miss Zhang's eye technique, we will naturally listen to your orders." Elder Zheng, who was at Transcendent Level 7, cupped his hands at Zhang Fengying and agreed. This made Wang Xian slightly surprised. It seemed that Zhang Fengying, who had a hot figure, had some ability. "How is it, little guy?" Zhang Fengying looked at Wang Xian and said condescendingly, "Let's go." Wang Xian realized that he was much shorter than Zhang Fengying. His figure was less than 1.8 meters. However, Zhang Fengying was close to 1.9 meters, which was about the same height as Zhang Yitian. This made him feel a little awkward, and he said it directly. As for Wang Xian saying that he would listen to his commands, Wang Xian didn't agree to it immediately. With Wang Xian's light and dark fire dragon eyes, it was more appropriate for him to command. "HMPH, let's go." Seeing that he didn't reply, Zhang Fengying snorted softly and flew straight into the sky. The rest of them quickly followed behind. "Captain Wang, my aunt is very perceptive. You can listen to her first." Zhang Yitian whispered to Wang Xian. Wang Xian nodded his head. The rest of them immediately flew towards the region of the Dragon Wind. The region of the Dragon Wind was 100 kilometers away from Donghai City. The reason why it was called the region of the Dragon Wind was because the wind and waves here were very strong. Under normal circumstances, the waves could reach a height of 100 meters. In this region, there were actually tornadoes. Sometimes, there were even blade-splitting storms that could kill a Type 5 or 6 Transcendent. At the bottom of the sea, there was an undersea forest. At the bottom of the sea, there was a type of wind chime tree. This type of tree could make a sound at the bottom of the sea. It was extremely mystical. Along the way, they encountered more than a dozen supernatural level 3 or 4 flying ferocious beasts. They were easily dealt with by them. 2 to 3 hours later, Wang Xian saw the waves in front of him becoming more turbulent. Huge waves came one after another. The wind was also more than 10 times the size of the area around Donghai City. Wang Xian even saw a huge phenomenon of a dragon sucking water. "Let's go down from here." After Zhang Fengying entered this place, her speed became even faster. A green light flashed in his eyes as he spoke to the people around him before entering the sea. Wang Xian and the rest immediately followed behind him. The Wind-Wing Savage Fish Demon Beasts live in the Windbell Forest at the bottom of the sea. They are digging a cave underground and the cave is in all directions. The Wind-Wing Savage Fish Demon Beasts are controlling a group of ferocious beasts. Among them, the main one is the Jinlin Boa. Everyone must be careful. If you are suddenly attacked by the Jinlin Boa, or the Wind-Winged Savage Fish, no one will be able to save you. After entering the ocean, Zhang Fengying's expression turned serious. He was holding a long whip in his hand and looked like a queen. Wang Xian looked down. The depth of the area was more than 20,000 meters. At a glance, it looked like a huge forest. The wind chime tree was about 30 meters tall. It was located at the bottom of the ocean. A slight touch would cause a sound. Once a fight broke out here, it would definitely attract the attention of the surrounding people. It was also because of the wind chime tree that a few years ago, many powerful mercenary groups were unable to do anything to the wind-wing rampant fish race. We must land at the bottom of the sea, or else we will be more easily discovered. Zhang Fengying's eyes flickered with a green light as she spoke to them. Everyone understood this place and nodded as they followed behind her. Chapter 1005, Pupil Technique. The bottom of the sea in the Dragon Wind region was not completely dark. The wind chimes on the wind chime tree were emitting a green light, and the bottom of the sea was also reflected in a green color. The surrounding area contained dense water energy and wind energy. In the wind chime forest, floating in the sky above the forest was simply courting death. In the sky, one could float in the sky within a few thousand meters. The fierce beasts and demon beasts in the wind chime forest were easier to ambush and attack. After entering the underwater forest, they would be able to move more stealthily. Here, if you encounter a Jinlin boa or a wind-winged savage fish, you must kill them as fast as possible. Don't make too much noise. Wind and water elemental cultivators must pay attention. Don't let the sound of the wind chimes spread out. Zhang Fengying looked at the people behind him and warned with a serious face. Yes, the members of the Amethyst mercenary group were obviously not unfamiliar with Zhang Fengying. They nodded their heads heavily. Xia Homing and the rest also knew of her name and agreed with her. Wang Xian looked at this woman with a hot body. To be able to reach Transcendent Level 7, she must be extraordinary. Let's go. Zhang Fengying waved her hand. Everyone stared at their surroundings vigilantly. Wang Xian also looked around, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. Under his gaze, Wang Xian realized that there was a passage under the sea 500 meters in front of him. The passage was extremely huge, but there were no living things in it. Was this the nest of the wind-winged savage fish? Wang Xian looked around curiously. The passage led to the front, and it extended in all directions. It was like a huge maze. No wonder I can't get rid of this wind-winged savage fish. Their lair is so complicated. Even if an expert from the Void Interpretation realm came, he wouldn't be able to get rid of this wind-winged savage fish. Wang Xian looked at the bottom of the sea. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, an urgent sound came from the front. Wang Xian raised his head and looked ahead. He saw that Zhang Fengying, who was walking at the front, was holding a ferocious beast with a green long whip in her hand. The ferocious beast was 7 to 8 meters long, as thick as a bucket, and had 2 antennae on its head. It looked like a python, but there was a big difference. Bang! Zhang Fengying moved her arm and tightened the whip, and the 7 to 8 meter long embroidered scale BOA was instantly divided into several parts. Too ferocious. Miss Fengying is not only powerful in her ocular arts, but also a group of powerful ones. After all, she is the only one in the Zhang family who has activated her green eyes. Beside them, the group of youths from the Void Beast mercenary group whispered when they saw the powerful Zhang Fengying. Be careful. I discovered him when I was 1,000 meters away. Now that I am 500 meters away, you still haven't seen him? Zhang Fengying turned her head and looked at the group of people behind her with a displeased expression. Zhang Yitian felt a little awkward. She was used to this aunt of his. However, Zheng Lao, who was beside Xia Homing, could not help but twitch his lips. He lowered his head slowly and wiped the long saber in his hand, pretending that he did not hear anything. Zheng Lao is good at fighting. That little fellow, what are you good at? Zhang Fengying looked at Wang Xian. As a qualified commander, he had to understand the attributes and abilities of everyone. She did not need to ask about the others. However, he had to understand Wang Xian, who was also an extraordinary level 7 fighter. I'm good at it. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment before saying, I'm good at scouting. You're good at scouting. Zhang Fengying was slightly stunned when she heard his words. Then, She looked at him with a teasing expression. Little fellow, you're good at scouting. Yes, big sister. Wang Xian heard him calling her little fellow again and again. He looked at her and replied, Big sister. When the surrounding people heard Wang Xian's words, they immediately looked over, and then looked at Zhang Fengying. This big sister was really well addressed. You. Zhang Fengying glared at Wang Xian. When she saw the anger on his face, she immediately restrained herself. She looked at Wang Xian from head to toe and said, You're the only one who's good at scouting. Didn't you notice the Jinlin boa that was 500 meters away just now? Is this the scouting that you're good at? I'm indeed good at it. Wang Xian nodded his head faintly. All right, then I'd like to see how good your scouting skills are. Come, let's walk at the front. Old Zeng, you stay behind us. Zhang Fengying raised her eyebrows and said to them, All right, Miss Zhang. I'm not good at this. I'll leave the scouting to you guys. Old Zeng nodded his head with a smile. Wang Xian walked over nonchalantly. Pa, kid, let's have a competition. Next, let's see who will be the first to discover the ferocious beasts lurking around. Zhang Fengying placed her arm on Wang Xian's shoulder and said plainly. Wang Xian smiled and looked at Zhang Fengying, who was taller than him by half a head. He took 2 steps to the left and said, All right. Hehe. Zhang Fengying smiled when she saw his actions and shouted, Let's go. As they continued to walk forward, Zhang Fengying looked at Wang Xian with a smile on her face. Her eyes were flashing with a green glow. He swept his gaze across the surroundings. Green eyes. Wang Xian took a glance at Zhang Fengying and thought to himself, I wonder what abilities this green eyes have. He continued walking forward. The wind chime tree was dozens of meters tall, and the sea was calm. It was similar to the forest on the ground. After walking for more than 1,000 meters, Wang Xian scanned his surroundings with a smile on his face. Suddenly, he pointed upward with his arm. Without him saying a word, a golden swordfish behind him moved and flew directly toward a wind chime tree in front of him. Buzz! Metal swords pierced through the tree. Bang! A 7 to 8 meter large corpse fell to the ground. It was a caracal of extraordinary level 5. The group of people who were walking were stunned. Even Zhang Fengying looked over in astonishment. There's a caracal on the tree. Her expression changed as she looked at Wang Xian. You discovered it? The strength of your subordinates is not bad. Let's go. Wang Xian did not answer her and said plainly. Who is it? A little cat meeting a dead rat. How arrogant. Zhang Fengying saw that Wang Xian was ignoring her. She pouted and her expression became serious. A dense green energy gathered in her eyes. When Wang Xian saw her appearance, he retracted his dragon eyes of fire and light. Now he was only at the periphery. He would leave it to Zhang Fengying, his big sister. This way, he was happy to be free. 500 meters to the left, there is a caracal boa wrapped around the tree. It's a level 5 transcendent. Let's go and take care of it. After walking for another 500 to 600 meters, Zhang Fengying's lips curled up slightly as she said softly. A level 6 transcendent girl from the amethyst flew over immediately and took care of it. 1 to 1. Zhang Fengying raised her head and looked at Wang Xian provocatively. This made him feel a little amused. He nodded his head lightly. Continue. She continued to move forward with full of fighting spirit. She looked around vigilantly. Chapter 1006, was convinced. 8 to 1. After driving for an hour, Zhang Fengying waved the long whip in her hand and killed the anaconda. She looked at Wang Xian with a hint of contempt in her eyes. She had a tall and slender figure to begin with. Now that she raised her head, she looked even more impressive. Sister Zhang's alertness is one of the best in the entire Donghai city. That's right. There aren't many people in the entire Donghai city who possess ocular skills. Sister Zhang is the best. That's right, that's right. After walking for an hour, all the dangers were easily resolved by Zhang Fengying. Behind them, the Amethyst Mercenary Group and the Void Beast Mercenary Group also revealed relaxed expressions. All of them said flatteringly, Alright, stop flattering us. Just now we were only at the outer perimeter. There were some extraordinary level 5 Jinlin boas. Next, we will be approaching the central area of the wind chime forest. We might encounter the windwing savage fish. Zhang Fengying waved her hand indifferently and looked at Wang Xian. Little guy, there are still many things that you need to learn. Wang Xian and Zhang Fengying looked a little smug and felt amused. Awesome. You're still the best, big sister. Are you convinced now? You're not allowed to wear those big words. In the future, when you see me, be good and call me big sister. Call me big sister. Zhang Fengying looked at Wang Xian with her chin and said happily. The corner of Wang Xian's mouth twitched. I think it's better to call you big sister. Just call me whatever I tell you to call me. In the future, don't be arrogant, and don't be arrogant in front of me. Be humble and be defeated. Zhang Fengying looked at her and said with a smile on her face. Let's continue. Wang Xian said to her helplessly. Captain Wang, if you want to compete with Sister Zhang in scouting, you have lost. That's right. Sister Zhang's eye technique is too powerful, and she has a lot of experience. The two young men behind whispered. When we reach the central area, there might be a group of Jinlin boa. Everyone be careful. After walking for more than 10 kilometers, Elder Zeng jumped down from a tree and reminded everyone. A cave has appeared. We have to be prepared to fight at any time. Zhang Fengying looked at the underground cave in the distance and reminded loudly. Entering the cave meant that they had truly entered the territory of the wind-winged savage fish. Around these underwater caves, there might be more than a dozen caracal boas, or wind-winged savage fish that would suddenly appear. Once they entered the center, Wang Xian became vigilant. In his vision, there was a cave entrance that was about 2 to 3 meters wide every 100 meters in front of them. Beneath these caves were numerous tunnels that were densely packed together. They were considered to have gone smoothly in the periphery of the wind chime forest. However, the central area was the real beginning. Take out the induction stone plate. Old Zeng said to a young man. The induction stone plate could sense the concentration of spiritual energy. The sensing range was 100 meters. The cave of the wind-winged savage fish was complicated, but the depth was less than 100 meters. Using this induction stone plate, if one discovered a spot where the spiritual stones were suddenly higher, it meant that it might be the true cave of the wind-winged savage fish. There might be treasures inside. Wang Xian took a look. To him, this induction stone plate was of no use. With his current strength, he could penetrate 500 to 600 meters of land when he looked underground. After walking for about half an hour, Zhang Fengying took care of the 2 golden-scaled boas that were hiding around. The golden-scaled boas here had reached transcendent level 6. Take the induction plate and go to the cave. Zhang Fengying looked at the surrounding caves and walked over to check them. She pointed at the first cave that she checked. All right, Sister Fengying. The girl nodded her head and immediately ran over with the induction plate. Wang Xian scanned his surroundings and looked at the bottom of the cave. Ha! Suddenly, Wang Xian was slightly taken aback. Wait! He quickly said to the girl who was walking over. Captain Wang, what's wrong? The girl looked at him curiously. What's wrong? Zhang Fengying also looked at Wang Xian and asked curiously. There's a wind-winged savage fish down there. Wang Xian pointed to a spot beside the cave and said. It was a demonic beast with a pair of wings. Its head and body were similar to that of a shark. It had a thick layer of skin and a fish tail. Just now, Wang Xian took a look at his surroundings. There were no wind-winged savage fish there. Instead, they had just swam over from below. It was as though they were waiting for their arrival. Wang Xian pointed there and said. His gaze swept across his surroundings. More than 1,000 meters ahead, another wind-winged savage fish's head was revealed from the entrance of the cave. His gaze was cold as he looked over. Why are there wind-winged savage fish? I have just checked over there. Little guy, are your eyes playing tricks on you? Zhang Fengying looked at Wang Xian. However, she walked towards the cave that he was pointing at. Her green eyes looked into the cave, and tried to sense it again. It's confirmed that it's safe. Little one, you're still not up to it. Zhang Fengying smiled and looked at Wang Xian mockingly. Wang Xian did not look at her. Instead, he looked at the area below. He realized that when Zhang Fengying walked over, the wind-winged savage fish could sense her approaching and moved 3 to 4 meters into the cave. The wind-winged savage fish is a wind attribute demonic beast. They can sense whether or not they are approaching through the flow of water. Wang Xian thought to himself. Come over. Zhang Fengying waved at the girl. The girl immediately walked over. Leader Wang, don't worry about my aunt's investigative methods. Zhang Yitian thought that Wang Xian was unwilling to give up and said to him with a smile. Don't worry, Captain Wang. I still have faith in Sister Fengying. The girl smiled at him and walked to the entrance of the cave. Zhang Fengying continued to look at the cave in front of her. At this moment, the wind-winged savage fish slowly approached from the bottom of the cave. Bang! When Wang Xian saw this scene, the lightning wood in his hand gently landed on the ground. Boom! At this moment, a 1-meter-sized fish had suddenly emerged from the hole and attacked the girl. The girl held the communication stone plate in both hands. When she saw the wind-winged savage fish that had suddenly attacked her, her face revealed a look of horror. The loud sound caused the expressions of everyone around to change drastically. Zhang Fengying turned her head, and her face instantly turned ugly. The long whip in her hand wanted to rescue her. Whoosh! 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 However, at this moment, thorns emerged from the ground beside them and penetrated the wind-winged savage fish instantly. Wang Xian pulled his arm gently and pulled the 3-meter-long wind-winged savage fish out. Everyone was stunned when they saw that Wang Xian was killed by the wind-winged savage fish before its head even reached half a meter out. Thank you. The girl thanked Wang Xian in a state of shock. If it wasn't for Wang Xian, she would have died for sure. Chapter 1007 was convinced. Yes, be careful. Wang Xian nodded his head lightly and looked at the supernatural level 5 demon beast, the wind-winged savage fish. Compared to the ferocious beast, there wasn't much difference in intelligence. Wang Xian waved his arm and kept it into his interspatial ring. How did you discover that there was a wind-winged savage fish demon beast there? Zhang Fengying nodded at the girl apologetically. She came to Wang Xian's side and asked in astonishment. With my eyes. Wang Xian smiled faintly. Who are you lying to? Zhang Fengying glared at Wang Xian in disbelief. I didn't see it with my eyes. How could I know where it is? Let's go continue. Wang Xian said in a speechless manner. Zhang Fengying's expression changed. You saved Xiaoying's life just now. I'll count it as your win for 10 times. We'll win 13 to 10. She said to Wang Xian with a dark expression. Wang Xian smiled and looked at the spot in front of him. His eyes were sparkling. You're so arrogant after winning. Just you wait. Zhang Fengying waited for Wang Xian. Her face was filled with displeasure as she looked ahead again. Stop. After walking for a few hundred meters, Wang Xian said to all of them. What's wrong, Captain Wang? Did you notice it again? There aren't any ferocious beasts 500 meters ahead? Zhang Fengying's expression changed slightly. She stared at Wang Xian and said. The people behind also looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. You guys that and that. Wang Xian did not answer them. He pointed to Ao Yao and the rest who were beside him and said. Yes, leader. Ao Jian, and the rest nodded their heads. Wang Xian looked ahead and pointed the lightning wood in his hand at the bottom of the sea. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Rays of light that were accompanied by lightning instantly spread forward at a terrifying speed. Boom, boom, boom. Zhang Fengying, the Amethyst Mercenary Group, and the Void Beast Mercenary Group all stared at Wang Xian's hand movements closely. At this moment, one by one, the caracal boas were entangled by thorns and crawled out of the cave. At the back of the cave, there was an extraordinary level 6 demon beast, the wind-winged savage fish. Golden Light Spike, Ao Jian, and the other baron swordfish waved their long swords, and rays of golden light instantly penetrated into the heads of the Jinlin boa and the wind-winged savage fish. "Let's go," Wang Xian said to them and walked straight ahead. Everyone widened their eyes. Zhang Fengying had an incredulous look on her face. She looked at the corpses of the ferocious beasts on the ground, and then at Wang Xian. "How did you find them?" Zhang Fengying walked to Wang Xian's side and asked while staring at him. "My eyes, big sister." Wang Xian looked at her and replied truthfully. "How is that possible? How can the eyes see them? They were clearly in the cave and were hidden so well. How can they see them?" Zhang Fengying got closer with a face full of disbelief. When Wang Xian saw the hot figure right in front of him, the corner of his mouth twitched. "Maybe it's because of my good eyesight." Zhang Fengying's expression changed. She knew that this was his secret, and it was impossible for her to tell him. "This is considered a truce." Zhang Fengying's face darkened as she looked at Wang Xian and said, "Let's keep moving." Wang Xian looked around and continued to walk towards the center. Zhang Fengying, who was at the side, looked around from time to time. She sized up Wang Xian from time to time. The people from the Amethyst mercenary group and the Void Beast mercenary group behind him were also stunned. They followed behind him in astonishment. "This is too amazing. They are so far away, and they are even hiding in the cave. How did Leader Wang manage to do it? It is quite abnormal." He discovered the ferocious beasts hidden below 500 to 600 meters away. This time, Leader Wang might be able to lead us to the Windwing Savage Fish's treasure. A few young men from the Void Beast mercenary group looked at Wang Xian with admiration and discussed in a low voice. The eyes of the group of girls at the side flickered as well. This was especially so for the girl who had just been rescued by Wang Xian. She didn't believe Wang Xian's words just now. If it weren't for him, she would probably be dead by now. After walking for 7,000 to 8,000 meters, Wang Xian suddenly discovered a location below them. A windwing savage fish was following them. However, this windwing savage fish was in a passage under the sea. Its body was stuck to the soil. It was obvious that it was listening to the sound of Wang Xian's footsteps. These windwing savage fish are really smart. Perhaps they have been fighting with the mercenary group for the past few years. Their intelligence is getting higher and higher. Wang Xian thought to himself, and stopped walking. "What's wrong, Wang group? Are there more ferocious beasts lying in ambush ahead?" Seeing that Wang Xian had stopped, Elder Zeng looked at him in astonishment as well. His gaze was fixed on the underwater caves ahead. Zhang Fengying's gaze was fixed on those caves. A green glow shot out from her eyes. It was obvious that she had unleashed her ocular arts to the maximum. Bang! The lightning struck wood and Wang Xian's hand landed on the ground. He waved his arm forcefully. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of a violent collision suddenly came from under their feet. This caused their expressions to change drastically. Boom! The ground split open instantly. An extraordinary level 6 windwing savage fish was tied up by Wang Xian with thorns. "Damn humans, I'm going to kill you all." The windwing savage fish was tied up all over. Its pair of blood-red eyes stared at Wang Xian. Bang! Wang Xian struck the lightning wood in his hand and killed it instantly. Elder Zeng was stunned. Zhang Fengying, who was at the side, widened her eyes in disbelief. You actually discovered the demonic beasts hidden under our feet. How did you do it?" This was the first time she felt defeated. When Wang Xian stopped earlier, she was still looking ahead. However, she did not expect him to discover the wind-winged savage fish underground. The underground was the cave passage of the wind-winged savage fish. He had also learned about it from the information. The passage was at least 2 to 3 meters thick from the ground. It was difficult for the wind-winged savage fish to launch a sneak attack from the ground after 2 to 3 meters. In the end, a wind-winged savage fish was brought up directly from the passage below. How did he do it? Zhang Fengying looked at Wang Xian's feet and wondered if he had eyes on his feet. "Let's go, big sister." Wang Xian looked at Zhang Fengying, who was looking at him expectantly. His face was filled with smiles. "Big sister." She was just a big sister. But now she had become a big sister. She couldn't leave this big sister behind no matter what. Zhang Fengying's expression changed. This was a blatant insult. Leader Wang, you are simply too powerful. Not only powerful, you are practically invincible. Even the demonic beasts below us can discover you. Haha, with Leader Wang, we will definitely be able to return with a full load. The group of young men from the Void Beast mercenary group said with a fawning expression. Even some of the girls were staring at Wang Xian's figure with twinkling stars in their eyes. Be on high alert. Zhang Fengying growled with an embarrassed expression. When everyone saw her sullen face, they shrunk their heads slightly and stopped talking. Leader Wang, how did you do it? She couldn't help but walk over and ask again. Call me Big Brother. Wang Xian said faintly. Big Brother. She gritted her teeth. Are you convinced? I'm convinced. Chapter 1008, Deep Pit. Wang Xian didn't really care about size. It was fine for an old man to address him as little brother or young man. However, Wang Xian had some objections when a lady called him young man. Therefore, she could only address him as big sister or big sister, even though she was much older than him. Wang Xian looked at Zhang Fengying, who was completely convinced by him. A faint smile appeared on his face. When I lowered my head just now, I saw a demonic beast down there. Hence I killed it. Wang Xian looked at her and said to her with a serious expression. You. Zhang Fengying saw that he still didn't tell her. She looked embarrassed as she gritted her teeth and stared at him. I've already called you Big Brother. Why aren't you telling me? It's my duty. You've lost. Wang Xian said indifferently and looked ahead. Let's go. Let's continue forward. All right. After witnessing Wang Xian's perverse detection technique, the group of people hurriedly followed behind him. Auntie, let's follow him. Zhang Etian walked to her side, pulled her arm and shouted. Xiao Tian, are you sure that he is a new student of your Demon Hunters Academy? Zhang Fengying asked Zhang Etian with a solemn face. Although he hasn't been to the academy many times, he is indeed a student of our academy. Isn't he a pervert? Zhang Etian nodded and whispered. Do you know what background he has? Zhang Fengying asked expressionlessly. I don't know. Zhang Etian shook his head. Zhang Fengying's eyes flickered as she followed closely behind Wang Xian. Bang bang bang. Wang Xian walked toward the center. With a wave of his arm, Ao Jian and the rest immediately charged toward him. With a tap of the lightning strike wood in his hand, the wind-winged savage fish demon beast was killed. This miraculous technique made the members of the Void Beast mercenary group and Amethyst mercenary group widen their eyes. Their eyes were filled with shock. Zhang Fengying had been staring at Wang Xian the entire time. She did not see any trace of him. Could it be that his bloodline level is very high? She thought to herself. Then, she looked at the group of golden swordfish, and her eyes were filled with astonishment. His subordinates are so powerful. All of them are at extraordinary level 6. Zhang Etian and Xia Homing were also looking at Ao Jian, and the rest in astonishment. The strength of a transcendent level rank 6 was equivalent to that of a leader, or deputy leader, in the East Sea City mercenary group. In fact, many of the leaders of the mercenary groups were only at transcendent level rank 6. 11 subordinates who were at transcendent level rank 6 were already quite powerful. They walked for 5 hours without any obstacles. Along the way, they encountered the highest demonic beasts that were at transcendent level 6 as well. All of them were easily killed by Wang Xian and the rest. There's a deep pit in front of us. It used to be the central area of the territory of the winged howler fish. Old Zheng's voice rang out as everyone looked ahead. There was a huge empty space there. From afar, one could see the caracal boas entrenched there. They were entrenched on the surrounding wind chime trees, as though they were guarding the empty space. Is that the deep pit of the cave? Wang Xian looked over. The deep pit of the cave was the central area of the wind-winged fish in the past. It was also the place where the top-grade wind-winged fish lived. This was the starting point of the cave. From here, one could enter any part of the cave. Along the way, they did not discover any treasure with the induction stone plate. They could only enter from here and enter the cave. Ever since the top-grade wind-wing savage fish were killed, this place had become an entrance. The wind-wing savage fish entered the main entrance. According to the information, the wind-wing savage fish's treasure house should be not far from the main entrance. It seems that we did not cause any commotion along the way. Otherwise, there would not be a brocade scale boa guarding this place. Elder Zeng looked ahead, his face beaming with joy. As long as there was no commotion, it was a good thing. If a powerful transcendent rank 8 expert came here and attracted the attention of the wind-wing savage fish, they would hide in secret. You had no idea where they were hiding or where their treasures were. First, we have to destroy the hundreds of transcendent rank 5 and 6 Caracas and not allow them to transmit their voices. Elder Zeng looked at the deep pit in the cave and said softly, "We have prepared a soundless formation at transcendent level 7 here. We have set it up in the surroundings so that we can't transmit our voices out." Xia Homing took out a formation compass and said to them, "Let's end this as soon as possible." Zhang Fengying looked at Wang Xian and said, "All right, let's end this as soon as possible." A group of people nodded their heads. 4 wind attribute experts at Transcendent Level 6 took out the formation and immediately went over to hide. Kill! When Elder Zeng saw that the formation was set up, he let out a soft shout and charged forward. On the way, Zhang Fengying was initially on guard, and then it was Wang Xian. Now it was finally time for him to show his prowess. Charge! The members of the Amethyst Mercenary Group and the Void Beast Mercenary Group charged forward immediately. Wang Xian followed closely behind. 11 golden swordfish held golden longswords in their hands and followed behind. Buzz! At the deep pit of the cave, more than 100 caracal boas noticed their arrival and let out a roar. A few caracal boas swept their tails heavily on the wind chime tree. The wind chimes on the wind chime tree swayed. However, they did not hear any sound. The soundless formation was an extremely useless wind attribute formation. At this moment, it could bring out a miraculous effect. Roar! 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 Walala! When Wang Xian rushed into the formation, he heard the roar and the sound of wind chimes. A smile appeared on Wang Xian's face. He held the lightning strike wood in his hand. The wood was emitting green and blue rays of light. Whoosh! 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 He waved his arm, and a thorny vine that was accompanied by lightning struck the dozen, or so caracal, at the level 6 transcendence in front of him. Bam! 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 However, before his attack could land, a 1,000-meter-long wind whip lashed onto the caracal boas instantly, tearing their skin and flesh. Oomph! A cold snort came from beside his ear. Wang Xian looked over. Zhang Fengying rolled her eyes at him and looked at him provocatively. Let's see who kills the most. Wang Xian found it funny. She wanted to get back at him for her failure in scouting. Wang Xian smiled and waved his arm. A dense azure dragon aura landed on a chime tree. Spirit enchantment. He shouted softly. The chime tree seemed to have come to life, as it instantly attacked the surrounding brocade-scaled boas. He leaped onto the tree. With the lightning strike wood in his hand, he swept across the surrounding ferocious beasts. Someone actually arrived before us. At this moment, a large group of people suddenly arrived not far from them. There were more than 100 people in total. Some of them were students from the Demon Hunter College, while the others were mercenaries from outside the college. When they saw the battle in front of them, their faces revealed a look of surprise. Chapter 1009, Acted Alone. It's the Void Beast Mercenary Group and the Amethyst Mercenary Group. I didn't expect them to arrive here before us. That's Zhang Fengying from the Zhang family and Zheng Qixiong from the Xiahou Mercenary Group. He's a transcendent level 7 powerhouse. They're almost finished with the Jinlin Boa at the entrance. There were more than 100 people. 2 middle-aged men and 2 old men stood at the front. Beside them were 4 young men. Obviously, Zhang Etian, Xiaoho, and the rest had called Zhang Fengying and Elder Zeng over for this mission. The group of them had also called over 4 experts who were at Transcendent Level 7. They were a team formed by 7 mercenary groups from the Demon Hunter College. Their abilities far surpassed the Void Beast Mercenary Group and the Amethyst Mercenary Group. When Wang Xian noticed the arrival of the group of people, he had already stopped and looked at their location. 23. HMPH, you seem to only have a dozen of them. After Zhang Fengying had killed 23 Caracas, she looked at Wang Xian with a smug expression. However, when she saw Wang Xian looking into the distance, she was slightly taken aback. Immediately, she noticed a group of people that was 1,000 meters away. What sharp eyes! Zhang Fengying mumbled to Wang Xian with an unhappy expression. It was obvious that he was unhappy when he saw that Wang Xian had discovered that there were people outside before him, and that he had lost in the investigation. He looked at the group of people with displeasure. Captain Zhang, Captain Xiaoho and 2 seniors. I didn't expect you guys to arrive faster than us. The group of people walked over and spoke to Zhang Etian, Xiaoho Ming and the rest. What a coincidence. Zhang Fengying clearly brought her emotions to them as she said coldly. We're just lucky. Thank you for getting rid of these brocade scale boas. A middle-aged man at the front said with a smile. Should we work together or go our own ways? Elder Zeng walked over and looked at them. What do you think? The middle-aged man looked at them and exchanged glances with the 3 Transcendent Level 7 experts beside him. He smiled. All right. The few people beside them nodded. It was not as if no one had entered the cave of the Windwing Savage Fish before. They either died or returned empty-handed. No one knew how dangerous it was. Most of them were just students. It was fine if they could not get the treasure, but it was not worth it if they lost their lives. At the last banquet, their idea was to join forces. This time they naturally would not refuse. Commander Zhang, Commander Xiaoho, let's make a plan. I have a map of the cave of the Wind-Winged Savage Fish. Although it may be detailed, it is better than nothing. A young man held a map in his hand and said to Zhang Etian and Xiaoho Ming. All right, it's good that we can complete this mission. Even if we fail, we can treat it as an experience. Our lives are more important. Xiaoho Ming walked over with a smile on his face. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and walked towards the young man. However, when the young man saw Wang Xian walking over, he was slightly stunned. Then he slowly folded the map in his hand and looked at him with a frown. Wang Xian. Wang Xian. That new student Wang Xian. I didn't expect him to follow the Void Beast Amethyst over. When they saw the young man calling out the name of Wang Xian, the rest of the people behind looked over at the same time, with curious expressions on their faces. Currently, everyone in the Demon Hunters Academy knew the name of Wang Xian. No one dared to admit that he was the one who killed Yin Hanhai and the rest. However, most people felt that he was foolish and was courting death. Captain Lian, the young master's mercenary group has said that whoever defends him, regardless of which mercenary group, they will definitely make him pay a heavy price. Also on the Yin family's side, a young man walked over and whispered to Captain Lian, who was holding a map in his hand. When the 4 middle-aged men heard their words, they raised their eyebrows and waved at a young man beside them. Captain Zhang, Captain Xiaoho, we can work together, but this Wang Xian. Captain Lian looked at Zhang Etian and Xiaoho Ming and said indifferently, we can't bring him along. I heard that the Yun family is already preparing to take revenge. What's going on? Why can't we bring him along? This fellow is much more useful than you guys. Zhang Fengying heard Captain Lian's words and said coldly with some surprise. There are some things that you might not know, senior. Right now, no one dares to get close to this person. A young man next to him looked at Wang Xian with a mocking expression. It's not good for a person who is about to die to implicate others. Zhang Fengying was stunned. Zhang Etian and Xiaoho Ming frowned and looked at them. From the looks of it now, our cooperation. That's good. You guys can go with them. I'll go alone. Wang Xian didn't pay any attention to the words of the few young men. He said directly to Zhang Yitian, Xia Homing, and the rest. Leader Wang, don't worry. We won't. Zhang Yitian was slightly stunned and quickly explained. I'll go alone. I'll be a burden if I go with you guys. Wang Xian said with a smile. Hehe, you really know your limits. You know that you will be a burden. Captain Lian said with a smile when he heard Wang Xian's words. Captain Wang won't be a burden. Captain Wang's strength. Xiaohua, don't speak. A girl from the Amethyst mercenary group wanted to refute on Wang Xian's behalf, but Zhang Yitian quickly stopped her. The young master's mercenary group and the Yin family wanted to deal with Wang Xian. However, they didn't know Wang Xian's true strength yet. Once he revealed his true strength, he would be in even more danger. Stop! Zhang Yitian quickly shouted. Xia Homing also gestured to his subordinates behind him to stop them from talking. You brat! Zhang Fengying revealed a displeased expression when she heard that he was dragging them down. She knew that he was referring to them. Hehe, you guys can come along. I'll be leaving first. Wang Xian was all smiles. He waved his hand at Zhang Fengying and the rest and walked straight into the deep pit. Speaking of which, he still had to thank these people. Now that he was here, he had already understood everything that he needed to know. Following the Amethyst mercenary group and the Void Beast mercenary group would make him feel restricted. Wang Xian was more than happy to part with them. Although it was a little like burning the bridge after crossing the river, he would give them some compensation if he could obtain the treasure. You bastard, get lost now. Zhang Fengying became even angrier when she saw Wang Xian's happy face. Clearly, this fellow was eager to part with them. It was obvious that he despised them. Kid, hurry up and leave. The young master's mercenary group and the Yin family might come looking for you soon. Hehe. It's better to die at the hands of the ferocious beasts than to be tortured to death. Chapter 10:10. Windwing Savage Fish's Treasure. Boss, should we make a move? If we kill this kid, young master's mercenary group and the Yin family will definitely give us a lot of benefits. The Amethyst mercenary group and the Void Beast mercenary group are here. You want to kill him? Shut up. Hehe, boss. I don't know why this kid let the Amethyst mercenary group and the Void Beast mercenary group protect him so much. What's the use of that? Now that he has offended the Yin family, even with the background of their two leaders, they can't protect this kid. After all, Yin Hanhai is the most outstanding disciple of the Yin family. As they watched Wang Xian and his men walking into the deep pit of the cave, everyone looked at their backs and whispered to each other. Leader Lian even mocked them. Only the Amethyst mercenary group and the Void Beast mercenary group had ugly expressions on their faces. They had witnessed Wang Xian's incredible detection ability along the way. Following Wang Xian was definitely more suitable than working together with them. However, Wang Xian found an excuse to separate from them. This made them unhappy. Zhang Yitian and Xia Homing exchanged glances. They walked over helplessly and discussed their next move with the other mercenary groups in the Demon Hunters Academy. Zhang Fengying was the only one who was glaring at Wang Xian's figure with gritted teeth. He wished he could swallow him whole. There are quite a number of people. 5 minutes later, Zhang Yitian, Xia Homing, and the rest were discussing beside the deep pit in the cave when a group of people flew over. The group of people looked over and revealed a hint of surprise on their faces. There were 30 people in the group. The weakest among them was at level 6 extraordinary. However, this was not what surprised them. What surprised them was the 8 people at the front. Rank 7 Transcendent, 8 Rank 7 Transcendent experts. It's Snake Mark. I didn't expect Commander Snake to come personally. Those 4 middle-aged men are from the Yin family. Hiss, the Yin family actually sent 4 Rank 7 Transcendent experts over. They are. Everyone looked over in astonishment. Even Zhang Fengying and Elder Zheng had solemn expressions on their faces. They knew this group of people, and their abilities were not weaker than theirs. Everyone, I heard that Wang Xian is here. Have you seen him? Snake Hen swept his gaze across the group of amethyst and void beast and asked coldly. Yes, we have. Commander Lien looked at Zhang Yitian and Xia Homing, turned around and said, Commander Snake, they entered the deep hole 5 minutes ago. Oh really? He looked into the deep hole and said, If you see them, please inform the communication stone plate. We will definitely thank you. Also, I hope no one will protect them. As he spoke, he looked at Zhang Yitian and Xia Homing. Let me tell you, anyone who dares to protect the person who killed our young master is an enemy of the Yun family. Don't blame us for being ruthless when the time comes. A middle-aged man from the Yun family, standing next to Snake Mark, warned the members of the Amethyst mercenary group and the Void Beast mercenary group with a murderous look in his eyes. This made Zhang Yitian and Xia Homing extremely embarrassed. Zhang Fengying and Elder Zeng, who were standing at the side, also had a glint in their eyes. They did not dare to help Wang Xian openly after the Yun family had made such a harsh statement. Everyone will go in first. Snake Trace took a glance at them and walked straight into the deep pit. A group of experts followed behind him. We have to hurry over as well. Snake Trace and the Yin family not only want to kill Wang Xian, but they also want to try their luck. Captain Lien said anxiously when he saw them enter. Let's go. Zhang Yitian, Xia, Ho Ming, and a few level 7 supernatural realm experts nodded their heads and entered the deep pit immediately. At this moment, Wang Xian had already entered the deep pit. The deep pit had an area of about 2,000 square meters and was about 5 meters deep. It was surrounded by densely packed caves. There were at least 1,000 caves, some big and some small. Through these caves, one could enter the cave of the wind-winged savage fish. Wang Xian directly chose a relatively large cave entrance in the middle and walked in. Once they entered the cave entrance, it was as though they had entered a maze. When they walked for about 100 meters, they encountered a fork in the road. Let's go this way. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled. He chose a path and walked straight in. In his vision, there were passages on both the left and right sides. The passages were blocked by the soil 5 to 6 meters away. As they were at the bottom of the sea, which was more than 20,000 meters away, the soil was extremely hard. Without the strength of a level 5 extraordinary, it would be difficult to dig a hole. With the light and dark fire dragon eyes, as long as my luck is not too bad, I will definitely be able to find the treasure of the winged savage fish. The corners of Wang Xian's mouth curled up slightly as he walked straight ahead. He scanned his surroundings and could see through an area of 500 to 600 meters. There's actually an ambush. Wang Xian walked forward, and a corner appeared in front of him. At the corner, there were 2 caracal boas hanging above. If anyone came in, they would definitely be attacked by them. He waved his hand and walked straight ahead. Bang! Bang! Before he could walk over, 2 sounds of falling could be heard. 2 caracal boas that were at Transcendent Level 6 had been killed by the strange demon, and the rest. The cave of the wind-winged savage fish was about 5 meters wide. The strange demon would be restricted a little here. However, hunting other ferocious beasts and demonic beasts would be a piece of cake. Continue. With the light dark fire dragon eyes, and the strange demon and the rest, Wang Xian's speed was extremely fast. Everything in the surroundings was under control. Once he discovered the demonic beasts and demonic beasts, he would be able to be hunted by the strange demon rapidly. After entering this place, I will completely lose my direction. Even if I have the light dark fire dragon eyes, I don't know where I came from. Wang Xian looked behind him. He had completely lost his direction. If he wanted to leave, he could only make a hole above him and leave. No wonder it has been so long. The species of the wind-winged savage fish and demonic beasts have not been eliminated. Wang Xian continued to walk forward. Suddenly, he stopped and looked to the left. That is the nest. Wang Xian looked to the left with his eyes glowing. In his vision, there was a huge cave behind the 7 passages. It was different from this kind of passage. It was a real cave. In the cave, there were more than 10 wind-winged savage fish. The weakest wind-wing savage fish was at level 4, and the rest were at level 5 or 6 of the supernatural realm. Wang Xian smiled. I've finally encountered a cave. I heard that there are treasures in every cave. Demonic beasts were no less intelligent than humans. A cave was equivalent to a small family clan. Within this small family clan, there would be treasures. Wang Xian held the lightning strike wood in his hand and inserted it into the wall of the passageway on the left. He dug out a hole and walked straight over. A group of members from the Dragon Palace followed behind him. Chapter 10-11. Under the Treasure of the Wind-Winged Savage Fish. Bang bang bang. Wang Xian used the lightning strike wood to break through the holes one by one. Then, he and the members of the Dragon Palace walked into the cave. Get ready. After breaking through 7 passages, Wang Xian said to Ao Yao and the rest behind him. It's the Dragon King. Ao Yao nodded. He held the lightning strike wood in his hand and placed it gently on the wall of the passage. Buzz! The thick wall cracked open, and a 3-meter-wide hole slowly appeared. He looked into the hole and saw a group of wind-winged savage fish. They had already noticed the commotion here and were staring at it intently. Their bodies were lying on the ground, and their eyes were filled with vigilance. Bang! Wang Xian pushed his arm, and the entire 3-meter-wide hole appeared. Whoosh! 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 At this moment, a wind sword that was like an aurora came straight at them. Wang Xian moved his body, and a huge earth shield instantly appeared in front of him. Under any state, Wang Xian, who was at Transcendent Level 7, could easily deal with the attacks of a group of people who were at Transcendent Level 6. Kill! The wind sword landed on the earth shield. Wang Xian let out a soft shout, and the golden swordfish and strange demon instantly attacked them from behind. Damned humans, I'm going to tear you into pieces. An extraordinary level 6 wind-winged savage fish stared at Wang Xian, and the rest viciously and roared loudly. Leave one alive. Wang Xian said indifferently. Ao Jian and Ao Demon's attacks had already landed on more than 10 wind-winged savage fish. One by one, the wind-winged savage fish were killed easily. Human, you actually killed our family members. You deserve to die. I'm going to kill all of you. The last survivor spoke the language of the humans from the supernatural continent. His expression was extremely ferocious. Soul Catcher. Wang Xian saw the bloodthirsty and hateful expression of the wind-winged savage fish. He frowned slightly and moved his body. He used the supernatural ability Soul Catcher. Soul-absorbing ability. By absorbing the souls of other creatures, one could extract their memories. Wang Xian rarely used this ability. This was because the memories of the other party were too huge, and it would deplete his spirit. Buzz! A special energy entered Wang Xian's mind. Instantly, he felt that something was forcefully stuffed into his mind. A ferocious aura filled Wang Xian's mind. Slowly he frowned slightly. They actually relied on the smell and the direction of the wind to walk in the passageway. This is troublesome. Wang Xian sensed this information and shook his head. From the memories in his mind, he learned that the wind-winged savage fish was a very greedy demonic beast. They liked to plunder, especially humans. They treated humans as their food. In addition, they liked to plunder all kinds of treasures to increase their strength. What a greedy race! Wang Xian thought to himself. He looked around and saw that Ao Jian and the rest had kept more than 10 corpses into their interspatial rings. He looked at the entire cave. The cave that occupied a radius of 2,000 meters was divided into small holes to live in. In the middle of the cave, the hole was the largest. There were some things hidden inside. Wang Xian immediately walked over and entered the cave. He saw many items placed inside. Weapons. Transcendent level weapons. There are so many of them. There's even an interspatial ring. What is this? Wang Xian was astonished. These weapons were obviously obtained by the winged howler fish after they hunted humans. Other than these items, there were 3 other items. Azure Stone, Transcendent Tier 6 material. Wind Chime Flower, Transcendent Tier 5 material. Wind Chime Liquid, Transcendent Tier 6 Spirit Liquid. Of the 3 items, Azure Stone was used to refine arrays and weapons. One Azure Stone was worth 5,000 mid-grade Spirit Stones, and there were over 1,000 Azure Stones here. The value of the Wind Chime Flower was relatively low, a few hundred mid-grade Spirit Stones. As for the Wind Chime Liquid, a drop could reach several thousand mid-grade Spirit Stones, and there were at least several thousand drops here. Excluding some extraordinary level 5 or 6 weapons and armor, the value of these 3 items alone had reached more than 10 million. No wonder the mercenary group from Donghai City would come here one after another. The value of the items from a small family, like the Wind-Wing Savage Fish, is so high. Then, wouldn't the treasures of the entire demonic beast race be worth hundreds of millions, or even dozens of medium-grade Spirit Stones? Wang Xian's eyes were burning with passion. After putting away all the treasures, Wang Xian scanned his surroundings and said, "Let's go." He moved his body and walked towards the location inside. The soul catcher didn't get any information. He could only search slowly. As he walked deeper into the cave, he realized that at the fork in the road, he would often encounter the hidden brocade-scaled boa. It seemed to be guarding this place. After driving for another half an hour, Wang Xian had no idea where he was. He swept his gaze around and found another cave. It was about the same size as the cave earlier. There were less than 10 wind-winged fish in it. Wang Xian opened up the passage and killed them easily. This is the wind-clearing crossbow. It's a special weapon of Transcendent Level 6. After killing all the wind-winged fish in the cave, Wang Xian entered the cave and found more than 10 special weapons. Wind-clearing crossbow, Transcendent Level 6 weapon. This weapon was similar to a bow and arrow, but it was completely different from a bow and arrow. It was similar to the Zhuge crossbow. The entire weapon looked very complicated. This was the most complicated weapon that Wang Xian had seen since he came to the Transcendence continent. Even the defensive weapons were not as complicated as this one. It should be worth a lot of Spirit Stones. Wang Xian looked at the 1-meter-long wind-clearing crossbows and continued his search. At this moment, in the underground passage of the Wind-Wing Savage Fish, the Amethyst Void Beast, and the rest of the mercenary groups from the Demon Hunters Academy were carefully groping around in the passage. There were more than 100 people, and they looked rather majestic. However, 3 of them died within a short span of 4 to 5 hours. What they didn't know was that one by one, the Jinlin Boa had already passed this news to the demon beast race of the Wind-Winged Savage Fish. Compared to Wang Xian, they had only harvested some of the corpses of the ferocious beasts. Even though they had found the cave, the Wind-Winged Savage Fish had already fled before they arrived. Not a single treasure was left behind. There are level 6 extraordinary Wind-Winged Savage Fish in ordinary caves. There must be an even stronger existence in the entire race. Wang Xian kept the corpses of the level 6 extraordinary Wind-Winged Savage Fish, as he thought to himself. However, regardless of whether there was a level 7 or level 8 extraordinary, Wang Xian was not worried at all. With their strength, they could still fight if they encountered a level 9 extraordinary Wind-Winged Savage Fish. Let's continue, Wang Xian thought to himself as he continued to walk forward. The dragon's eyes of light and dark fire scanned the surroundings. In at most a week, Wang Xian would be able to completely search this place. By then, he didn't know how much he would gain. Chapter 10-12 Nest. Wang Xian led a group of members of the Dragon Palace to hunt unscrupulously in the territory of the Wind-Winged Savage Fish. In just over 10 hours, the various weapons, equipment, and materials were stored in 2 interspatial rings. According to his calculations, the items in his hands were worth at least 100 million Spirit Stones. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just as Wang Xian was continuing his search in the passageway, the sound of wind whistling suddenly came from the passageway. What is this? Wang Xian frowned slightly. This kind of wind whistling was known from the memory of the soul-sucking Wind-Winged Savage Fish. It was a way to contact the species of the wind-winged savage fish. Is there something wrong? Or did so many people enter their territory and get discovered by them? Wang Xian thought to himself as he looked ahead. After walking forward for half an hour, Wang Xian actually encountered more than 20 wind-winged savage fish in the tunnel. A thoughtful look appeared on his face as he casually destroyed them. After destroying them, Wang Xian continued to move forward. The wind-winged savage fish actually came out of the cave in this passage. It seems that something must have happened. Wang Xian scanned his surroundings and saw a group of more than 10 wind-winged savage fish walking forward in a passage at the side. He hesitated for a moment and watched them leave his sight. Follow them. They should be heading to the largest nest. Wang Xian immediately broke through the walls of the passageway and entered the passageway, where the more than a dozen wind-winged savage fish were. Follow behind and don't make any noise, Wang Xian reminded the members of the Dragon Palace. He stared ahead and locked onto the group of wind-winged savage fish. They were traveling at a very fast speed. When they encountered a fork in the road, they would immediately make a choice. Clearly, they were traveling with a purpose. Wang Xian had been following behind them for 500 meters. Due to the complexity of the passage, the group of wind-winged savage fish did not notice their tracking. After walking for more than an hour, more than 100 wind-winged savage fish appeared in his line of sight. Among them, there were more than 10 wind-winged savage fish whose bodies were emitting a pure green glow. They were very different from the level 6 extraordinary fish that he had killed. According to Wang Xian's senses, these were level 7 extraordinary wind-winged savage fish. Why are there so many wind-winged savage fish here? The group of wind-winged savage fish stopped. Following that, under his astonished gaze, they actually disappeared into the wall beside them. Strange, very strange. What is that? Is it a formation? Wang Xian revealed a shocked expression. The light and dark fire dragon eyes could not penetrate that area. Obviously, if it was a formation, its level would definitely not be lower than Transcendent level 8, or even higher. Ao Yao, go and take a look. Be careful. Wang Xian withdrew his contempt for the wind-winged savage fish and ordered Ao Yao. It's the Dragon King. Ao Yao nodded and walked towards the walls of the passageway ahead. His body moved and entered the passageway directly. It's really a formation. However, Ao Yao, who possesses the shadowless divine ability, can ignore the formation. Wang Xian stood there and waited quietly. In less than 10 seconds, Ao Yao's figure returned to his side. Dragon King, the position in front is a formation. There are still many passageways within the formation. I didn't see the wind-winged savage fish. They should have gone deeper. Ao Yao reported to Wang Xian. Ao Jian, all of you wait here. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment and said to Ao Jian. Both he and the strange demon had the talent to ignore the formation. They wouldn't be repelled or sensed by the formation when they entered. All right, Dragon King. Ao Jian and the rest nodded and waited on the spot. Wang Xian walked forward. He walked to the wall and walked straight in. Once he entered, there was still a passageway. He immediately looked through the dragon eyes of light and dark fire. It's really secretive. Apart from the formation, there are 3 more passageways. Wang Xian was amazed. As expected of a demonic beast that was comparable to humans in terms of intelligence, they hid themselves so that even a void interpretation stage powerhouse wouldn't be able to find them. He walked in carefully. Before he entered, he saw 400 to 500 wind-winged savage fish walking out. Moreover, there were over 1,000 huge caracal boas around them. Their faces were filled with violent murderous intent. Damn humans! How dare they step into the territory of our wind-winged savage fish and eat them? There are many more humans than before. Their strength is not to be underestimated. However, they should be able to have a good meal. Roar roar! Some of the wind-winged savage fish spoke the language of humans with ferocious expressions. Among the group of wind-winged savage fish, there were about 20 pure green demonic beasts. Wang Xian's gaze slowly shifted to the spot where they came out from. A demonic beast of supernatural level 8. That should be the wind-winged savage fish of supernatural level 8. A huge nest appeared in his line of sight. Wang Xian looked at the huge nest. There was a 4-meter-long wind-winged savage fish lying on the high platform in the middle. Beside it was a 14 to 15-meter-long anaconda with a ferocious aura. There were more than 10 pure green wild-winged fish over there. This cave was extremely huge. It had an area of at least 3 to 4 kilometers. Each cave looked like a luxurious house. At the back there was a stone statue. The stone statue was a 10-meter-tall wild-winged fish. This stone statue was covered with a layer of green items. This should be the lair of the wind-winged rampaging fish. A hint of excitement flashed across Wang Xian's eyes as he sized up the place. There was a wind-winged rampaging fish that was at least at transcendent level 8, and 13 wind-winged pomfret fish that were at transcendent level 7. There was also a group of powerful brocade scale boas. That's the leader. The treasures of the wind-winged rampaging fish should be here. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled. A few hundred wind-winged savage fish were obviously dealing with some matters. This was the best time to attack. Let's get the treasures first. Wang Xian thought to himself. He waved his hand at Ao Yao and the rest, and walked towards the huge nest of the wind-winged savage fish. Prepare for an assassination. In order to prevent further complications, Wang Xian ordered Ao Yao to go in for an assassination. He followed behind and sneaked in carefully. Attack! Standing in front of the entrance of the nest of the wind-winged savage fish, Wang Xian immediately gave the order. In an instant, the sound of claws entering one's body could be heard from inside. Roar! Roar! Despicable humans! I didn't expect you humans to barge in. Suddenly, when Ao Yao's attack landed on the leader of the wind-winged savage fish who was lying on a high platform, a green energy instantly formed a protective barrier around it. The Ao Yao's claws were instantly blocked. Its crocodile-like head swiftly and fiercely attacked the Ao Yao. Humans have entered. Kill them. In addition, a few wind-winged savage fish that had not been attacked roared. Chapter 10:13. The leader of the clan. The strange demon that was shrouded in white light was treated as a human by the wind-winged savage fish. The claws of the Ao demon were blocked by the green wind shield, and its figure appeared instantly. When Wang Xian saw that the extraordinary level 8 wind-winged savage fish was actually able to block the attack of the Ao demon, he revealed a look of surprise. Is it another treasure? Wang Xian looked over and moved his body. He walked over from the entrance. Whoosh! 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 The group of strange demons instantly arrived behind Wang Xian. The strange demon also came to his side. Dragon King, this leader of the wind-winged savage fish has a weapon on him to block my attack. Ao Yao stared at the leader of the wind-winged savage fish and said with a solemn expression, Humans, it is indeed you. You bunch of despicable and cunning humans actually barged into our lair. The 4-meter-long wind-winged savage fish on the central platform lay there, its huge head staring at them coldly. On its head, a green crown slowly formed. Its ferocious face only added a bit of dignity. It's that green crown. Ao Yao stared at the green crown on its head and said with a grave expression. It was definitely not an ordinary treasure that could withstand his assassination. Submit to me, otherwise all of you will die. Wang Xian's gaze swept across the entire hall. The leader of the wind-winged savage fish was at level 8 supernatural realm, and the leader of the brocade scale boa was at level 8 supernatural realm. After 15 of the level 7 supernatural realm warriors were killed by the strange demon in an instant, there were only about 10 of them left. This force was not very strong. They could easily destroy it. Surrender? Die. The leader of the wind-winged savage fish lay on the high platform with its head stretched out. Its eyes were roaring crazily. It opened its mouth. The crown on its head was flickering with a dense green wind energy. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, wind blades that blotted out the sky and the earth attacked them. With a wave of Wang Xian's arm, the earth shield appeared in front of them instantly. Bang, bang, bang. The Earth shield collapsed immediately after the collision. Huh! What a powerful attack! Wang Xian's expression changed slightly. He moved his body and dodged to the side. The group of strange demons behind him dodged in a hurry. Kill them! Wang Xian ordered Ao Yao and the rest directly. Yes! Ao Yao stared at the leader of the wind-winged savage fish and attacked it in an instant. The group of strange Yao Yao also attacked the wind-winged savage fish and the Jinlin boa in the entire nest. Wang Xian stood there and did not make a move. His gaze swept across the entire nest of the wind-winged savage fish. Behind him was a 10-meter-long statue of the wind-winged savage fish that was draped in green leather. Behind the statue was a cave. The cave was emitting a green light. This light blocked his vision. The entire statue and the cave behind it gave him a mysterious feeling. It was like a place of worship for a race. Demonic beasts possessed intelligence that was not inferior to humans. They also had all sorts of strange customs. Bang! Bang! A violent sound was heard. Wang Xian turned his head and looked at the scene. More than a dozen wind-winged savage fish and the brocade scale boa that were at transcendent level 7 were easily killed by the strange demon. Even the rank 8 extraordinary brocade scale boa was instantly killed by Ao Yao. Only the rank 8 extraordinary leader, the leader of the race of the wind-winged savage fish, was left. However, at this moment his body also slammed heavily into the wall. Damn it, we are both demon beasts. Why do you have to listen to the orders of humans? The wind-winged savage fish lay on the ground with a furious expression. It stared at Ao Yao and roared loudly. If you don't surrender, die. Ao Yao's expression did not change. A strange black and white energy flickered slightly, and its figure instantly disappeared from the sight of the wind-winged savage fish. Roar, damn it! It opened its huge mouth and attacked in front of it. Wind blades covered the front without any difference. Bang! However, at this moment, a claw landed on the top of its head and heavily hit the green crown. Wind-wing crown! Sensing Ao Yao attacking the crown on its head, it roared loudly. Buzz! The green crown suddenly released a green shadow and flew towards Ao Yao comfortably. No mortal can touch the crown. Die! The green crown shadow instantly bound Ao Yao. The wind-winged savage fish's huge mouth fiercely bit at him. Light and dark void. Ao Yao's expression changed. He wanted to break free, but he found that he could not break free from the crown's binding. His body trembled and directly turned into nothingness, avoiding the crown's binding and the wind-winged savage fish leader's attack. Light and dark explosion. Ao Yao's bright claws and sickle-like claws intersected as he gently waved at Ao Yao. Light-dark explosion, another divine ability of the dragon spike. Light and dark intersected, unleashing the most terrifying attack. It could be detonated, or it could be detonated in an area. Ao Yaoguang waved both of his arms, and a light-dark thread intersected. Boom! The terrifying explosion landed directly on the body of the leader of the wind-winged savage fish. The crown on its head trembled violently, and green wind elemental energy enveloped its body. Hua hua! The terrifying explosion caused the entire nest to tremble slightly. The body of the wind-winged savage fish smashed heavily towards the back, landing directly on the statue. Roar, 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 invaders, you deserve to die, ah! The wind-winged savage fish raised its head with great difficulty. Its entire body was bathed in fresh blood as it stared ferociously at Ao Yao. The wind-winged crown on its head was extremely dim. Go to hell! Ao Yao's figure flashed as he instantly appeared in front of the wind-winged savage fish. Great wind-winged savage fish bloodline, give me strength! The wind-winged savage fish leader's body suddenly trembled as the blood flowing out of its body seemed to have evaporated. Ao Yao's black and white pupils constricted. With a wave of her arm, 3 beams of light shot towards the wind-winged savage fish. Voila! At this moment, the green leather covering the statue suddenly glowed brightly. The green light enveloped the wind-winged savage fish. The 3 attacks were easily blocked. The green leather directly covered the wind-winged savage fish leader. Ka ka ka. Haha, ancestors' bloodline, go to hell. The body of the leader of the wind-winged savage fish grew rapidly. In just a short second, it turned into a 10-meter-long wind-winged savage fish. It stared at Ao Yao Yao with a ferocious expression. It's so difficult to deal with. The leader of a demonic beast race actually has such means? Wang Xian revealed a surprised expression. The wind-winged crown, this magical green leather, was more magical than the other. As expected of the leader of a demonic beast race, Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked at the level 6 supernatural demon. Let's do it. It's the Dragon King. A level 8 supernatural demon with wings of the wind was attacking Wang Xian and his two most powerful underlings. This demonic beast race was not simple at all. Wang Xian moved his body and transformed into a divine dragon. The strange demon at the side flashed with light and charged forward. Chapter 10:14. Huge Treasure Trove. Spirit Enchantment. Wang Xian waved the lightning strike wood in his hand toward the sky. The entire lightning strike would seem to have come to life. The destructive power of a void interpretation level lightning strike would after spirit enchantment could reach the destructive power of an extraordinary level 9. Bind. Wang Xian transformed into a divine dragon. His huge body instantly appeared in the lair of the wind-winged savage fish. He slammed his dragon claws heavily on the ground. Whoosh! 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 The dragon energy transformed into thorns and twined around the wind-winged savage fish. Earth Burial. Wang Xian did not stop moving. His body was emitting earthy yellow energy. The soil that appeared out of thin air was buried towards the wind-winged savage fish. Whoosh! Whoosh! On the left and right sides, the strange demon and Ao demon instantly attacked the wind-winged savage fish. The two attacks landed heavily on the body of the wind-winged savage fish. Crack! Crack! Above his head, the lightning struck the wind-winged savage fish's body. Roar Wind Domain! The wind-winged savage fish struggled violently, but he could not resist the attacks of Ao Yao, the strange demon, and the lightning-struck wood. Green light bloomed on his body, and the entire nest was instantly covered in green. Bang! 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 The powerful attacks of Ao Yao Yao and the rest landed on the body of the wind-winged savage fish, causing it to tremble. However, it did not suffer any injuries. Meanwhile, Wang Xian suddenly felt gusts of wind energy tearing at his body from all directions. The powerful force wanted to tear his body apart. Wang Xian's body moved for a while, and his body was covered in soil. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of dragon flames, attacking the wind-winged savage fish directly. Whoosh! However, just as he spat out the dragon flames, a strong gust of wind blew towards him. The wind aided the fire. The flames attacked Wang Xian with an even stronger destructive force. His expression changed slightly. He opened his mouth and swallowed the flames directly. Gold Crack Void. Wang Xian released his supernatural ability directly and attacked the wind-winged savage fish. Buzz! The skin on the wind-winged savage fish fluttered once again, and the entire space trembled once again. The golden space-splitting supernatural ability was actually blown away. Numerous wind needles were formed in the void. FUCK, how did the strength of this wind-winged savage fish suddenly increase by so much? Wang Xian had a serious expression on his face. He moved his body and said, Water Crisis Exploding City, control the water. He moved his body, and the surrounding seawater froze instantly. The speed of the wind needles was reduced completely. Vital points. Wang Xian stared at the few weaknesses of the wind-winged savage fish and shouted at Ao Yao and the strange demon. Kill! Ao Yao and the strange demon attacked the wind-winged savage fish from both sides. The wood world has descended. Wang Xian stared at the lightning-struck wood floating in the sky and roared. With the lightning-struck wood as the center, trees appeared out of thin air. All the trees pressed down on the wind-winged savage fish. In the middle, a tree that was emitting lightning turned into a wooden spike and pierced downwards. Get lost! The dark crown on the wind-winged savage fish's head enlarged, and formed a tornado that swept towards all the trees. Light explosion. Light and darkness. The strange and Ao Yao seized this opportunity and attacked the two places beside him with their sharp claws. Bang! Bang! Two violent explosions sounded from the body of the wind-winged savage fish. Roar! 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 The wind-winged savage fish let out a rapid roar. Its body was actually shrinking rapidly, and its entire body was covered by green leather. Wang Xian waved his dragon claw, and the green layer of skin was torn apart, revealing the severely injured leader of the wind-winged savage fish. There were two huge wounds on both sides of its body, almost causing it to die. I surrender. The great leader of the wind-winged savage fish clan surrenders. Don't kill me, don't kill me. The wind-winged savage fish saw Wang Xian staring at it with a strange gaze. Its body trembled as it spoke to him. Wang Xian stretched out his dragon claws and grabbed its body before throwing it into his mouth. Bang! Bang! A green crown fell from the top of its head. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he transformed into his human form. After swallowing the leader of the wind-winged savage fish, which was at supernatural level 8, he had gained an additional 100,000 dragon crystals. With a move of his arm, the wind-winged crown on the ground appeared in his hand. Wind-winged crown, half-step void interpretation. A crown of the half-step cave level. No wonder it's so powerful. It can actually withstand the Ao Yao's attack, and even restrain it. Wang Xian revealed a look of surprise. He wore the crown on his head, but in the end, he awkwardly realized that he couldn't wear it since he didn't possess the wind attribute. Helpless, Wang Xian could only put it away. Following that, Wang Xian walked to the side of the green leather on the ground. It was because of this that the size of the leader of the wind-winged savage fish was increased to 10 meters. The attacks it released were also very powerful. Wind-winged king skin, half-step void interpretation. With the activation of the bloodline of the wind-winged pomfret, it could transform into the king of the wind-winged. Another half-step void interpretation treasure. However, only the bloodline of the wind-winged savage fish is useful. I can refine it into a cape or wings. Wang Xian looked at the 10-meter large leather and kept it with a smile on his face. Looking at the back of the collapsed cave, Wang Xian walked toward it excitedly. Bang! Beside the entrance, a ball of energy blocked his figure. This was not a formation, but a pure wind elemental energy. Wang Xian shook his arm and shattered it. What a huge space! In an instant, Wang Xian's eyes lit up. Spirit stones, wind chime flower, wind chime liquid azure stone. Wang Xian immediately walked to the front of the pile of spirit stones. His eyes were filled with excitement. There were low-grade, middle-grade and upper-grade spirit stones. Spirit stones were treasures to any living creature. Even demonic beasts could consume them as food. More than 30 million middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian placed all the spirit stones into his interspatial ring. His eyes were filled with excitement. Following that, he came to the side of the azure stone, the wind chime flower, and the wind chime liquid. Piles and piles. The wind chime liquid was placed into a pool. It couldn't be described as a drop at all. It could be described as a pool. Wang Xian dared to say without exaggeration that the value of the wind chime liquid in this pool was more than 700 to 800 million middle-grade spirit stones. I'm rich. I'm really rich this time. I didn't expect a demonic beast race to be so rich. Wang Xian's face was filled with excitement as he placed all the treasures into his interspatial ring. There's more here. Wang Xian walked forward and discovered all kinds of weapons and armor. Among them, there were many transcendent level 7 weapons and armor. There were also many interspatial rings. The hundreds of interspatial rings in Wang Xian's hands were all filled with the corpses of ferocious beasts and demonic beasts. There were not many of them left now, and these interspatial rings were in short supply. As he walked deeper into the pool, there were all sorts of miscellaneous items. They should be treasures obtained from the hunting of humans by the wind-winged savage fish. They were worth quite a lot. What is this? However, When Wang Xian walked to the middle of the pool, he found a small pool. There was a pool of liquid in the pool, and his face was filled with curiosity. Chapter 10:15, Precious Bloodline. The liquid was emitting a green glow and looked extremely mystical. The pool wasn't very big. It was just enough for a person to lie in. Wang Xian's eyes were sparkling. This pool was located in the middle of the entire treasure house. It was definitely not simple. Wang Xian stared at the pool, and a message appeared in his mind. The bloodline of the wind-winged savage fish. Half-step void interpretation. Bloodline? It's actually a bloodline? Wang Xian's face was filled with astonishment. Following that, an excited expression appeared on his face. Bloodline, a half-step void interpretation bloodline. This is worth something. That's right, this bloodline was worth something. The bloodline of the wind-winged savage fish was of no use to Wang Xian. It was no different from a puddle of water. However, to humans, this bloodline was a huge treasure trove. Bloodlines were something that demon beasts and vicious beasts were born with. It was a gift from heaven. As long as the demon beasts and vicious beasts with bloodlines didn't die, they would be able to cultivate to the peak of their bloodlines, as long as they had enough energy. For example, if they had enough energy and treasures, they would be able to reach the half-step void interpretation realm. 10 years ago, the wind-winged savage fish demon beast clan had been killed by the experts of East Sea City, until only a few rank 6 transcendents were left. Now only 4 years had passed, and under the enormous resources, a strong race had been born. The leader of the wind-winged savage fish had reached rank 8 transcendents. As for humans, they envied the bloodline of the wind-winged savage fish, so they invented a technique. The bloodline extraction technique changed one's bloodline to the bloodlines of demon beasts and vicious beasts. After possessing the bloodlines of vicious beasts and demon beasts, humans could easily cultivate to the peak of bloodlines like these demon beasts. They didn't need to comprehend divine abilities or break through shackles. As long as they had resources, they could break through to the peak of bloodlines. Although it was more difficult and required more resources than demon beasts, it was definitely a huge shortcut. The Draconid Empire was able to establish an empire because they had the dragon bloodline. Bloodlines would definitely cause people to go crazy on the transcendental continent, especially the bloodlines of the wind-winged savage fish. It wasn't easy to extract a demon beast's bloodline just by killing it. The extraction of bloodlines required the consent of the fierce beasts and demon beasts, and the demon beasts had to reach the peak of their bloodlines. There was another harsh condition. The will of the demonic beast had to be stored in the bloodline. The so-called will was the inheritance for the entire bloodline race. Only a demonic beast at its peak was willing to give up all its blood and will. Only then could the bloodline be considered complete. All sorts of conditions made bloodlines extremely rare. In East Sea City, 4 or 5 families had bloodlines. The Yun family had the highest level of bloodlines, and they could cultivate to Transcendent Level 9. The Yun family was ranked 5th in East Sea City. Even Zhang Fengying's bloodline was only at Transcendent Level 8. Even so, the Zhang family was a huge existence in East Sea City. A half-step void interpretation bloodline would definitely shake the entire city. I'm really rich. Just by relying on this bloodline, I can get a few billion middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian's eyes were burning with passion. He took out an interspatial ring and placed the entire pond into it. He wore this interspatial ring on his hand to prevent it from being lost. Perhaps this bloodline had consumed all of Wang Xian's luck. On the other side of the treasury, all of it was the food of the winged howler fish. However, Wang Xian did not care. This bloodline alone was enough for this trip. Wang Xian, Ao Yao, and the rest took a look at their surroundings. After making sure that they did not miss any treasures, they walked out from the nest of the wind-winged savage fish. Destroy it. Wang Xian thought for a moment. With a shake of his arm, he landed on the ground. The wrath of the earth. Boom, boom, boom. The surroundings began to shake, and the top of the nest of the winged savage fish began to crack. Boom! The entire nest collapsed. Wang Xian smiled and headed outside to meet Ao Jian and the rest. Dragon King, are we going back? Having obtained the largest treasure in the entire nest, Ao Jian asked Wang Xian. There's no need to rush back. Wang Xian shook his head. There were at least 7 to 8 caves in the territory of the winged howler fish. The value of the items in each of the caves was not less than 10 million middle-grade spirit stones. If he was not in a hurry to return now, he could definitely search here. Alright, Dragon King. The members of the Dragon Palace nodded their heads. Let's go. Wang Xian looked to the right. There were more than 100 winged howler fish heading there. He thought for a moment and headed there. If the group of wind-winged savage fish were really looking for humans, the people from the Amethyst mercenary group and the Void Beast mercenary group would be in trouble. With their strength, they wouldn't be able to deal with them. Wang Xian paused and hesitated for a moment. Then he took out an interspatial ring. Ao Jian, consume all the wind-chiming liquid in here to increase your strength. The foamling liquid was considered as energy. Even if Wang Xian consumed it, he would be able to obtain dragon qi. Ao Jian and the rest could definitely increase their strength after consuming it. It's the Dragon King. Ao Jian and the rest nodded and immediately consumed the foamling liquid. Wang Xian was not in a hurry. He looked at the 11 golden swordfish sitting cross-legged. 3 hours later, a powerful aura erupted from Ao Jian and the rest, causing a smile to appear on his face. I had to consume almost all of the wind chime liquid worth 700 to 800 million before I could make a breakthrough. It will be too difficult for me to level up in the future. Wang Xian smiled when he saw the 11 golden swordfish had leveled up to extraordinary level 7. Let's go. It's the Dragon King. Wang Xian walked forward while scanning his surroundings with the dragon eyes of light and dark fire. After walking for 5 to 6 hours, he found nothing other than an empty cave. The territory of the wind-winged savage fish was too big. It would take at least a week to walk through it completely. Quick, everyone run. As long as we avoid the pursuit of the wind-winged savage fish, we can only escape by breaking through the soil on top. Just as Wang Xian walked out of the cave, he suddenly heard an anxious voice coming from the front. However, a group of people appeared in his line of sight. What entered his eyes were the Amethyst mercenary group, the Void Beast mercenary group, and a group of students from the other mercenary groups in the Demon Hunter College. They ran over with faces full of fear. Among them, there were quite a number of people who were covered in injuries. Their faces were full of fear. Leader Wang, run quickly. We have a group of wind-winged savage fish chasing us. They are a group of wind-winged savage fish. Their strength is very terrifying. The group of people who were running towards them also saw Wang Xian. They were slightly stunned. A female student from the Amethyst mercenary group hurriedly shouted anxiously. Are they chasing after you? Wang Xian looked at them. It seemed that the group of wind-winged savage fish was chasing after them. However, what surprised him was that they actually managed to escape from their pursuit. Chapter 10:16. Would kill this brat first. Quick, Captain Wang, run. There are more than 10 to 20 wind-winged savage fish of supernatural level 7. Run. A few young men from the Void Beast mercenary group saw that Wang Xian was still standing there. Their faces were pale as they shouted loudly. Wang Xian returned to the cave and watched as they ran over. There were about 100 people in total. It was obviously dozens fewer than when Wang Xian saw them. Judging from the injuries on their bodies, they must have met with some mishap. Captain Wang. A group of people approached. When Zhang Etian and Xia Homing saw the figures of Wang Xian and the rest, their expressions changed slightly. They quickly walked towards him. When the Amethyst and Void Beast mercenary group saw their captain walking over, they followed him into the cave. What's wrong? Let's go quickly. We might be discovered by the wind-winged savage fish again in about 10 minutes. An impatient voice came from behind and said coldly to them. Leader Wang, run away quickly. Zhang Yitian whispered to Wang Xian as he looked back warily. Wang Xian was slightly taken aback. He looked at the anxious Zhang Yitian and Xia Homing with a surprised expression. What's wrong? He looked at them in astonishment. It's Wang Xian. It's him. He's actually still alive. I really didn't expect that. I didn't expect to bump into him. Some of the members of the mercenary group behind looked at Wang Xian and said in astonishment. Captain Wang, you should run quickly. Otherwise, you won't be able to escape. Xia Homing heard the discussion behind him and quickly pulled Wang Xian's arm. Why should I run? Wang Xian asked in surprise. Captain Zhang, Captain Xia Homing, where can he run to? Just as Wang Xian finished his sentence, a cold voice came from behind. He was holding a fiery red longsword in his hand. A group of people squeezed through the crowd and walked towards him. Their eyes swept across the cave and finally landed on Wang Xian. Snake Mark. Wang Xian looked at him with a surprised expression on his face. Then, he swept his gaze across the group of people beside him. 7 extraordinary level 7 powerhouses. Snake Mark, everyone from the Yin family, let's escape quickly. The winged savage fish is about to catch up to us. Zhang Fengying and Elder Zeng also walked in hurriedly. They looked at Wang Xian and said with a bad expression. There's no rush. A faint smile appeared on Snake Scar's face. The 4 extraordinary level 7 experts beside him stared at Wang Xian with murderous intent. You're really anxious. If you don't leave now, those demonic beasts will chase after us. If you don't leave, we will leave. Zhang Fengying said to Snake Scar with a solemn expression. Miss Zhang, if you want to leave, feel free to leave. A middle-aged man beside Snake Mark glanced at her coldly and said. All right, Wang Xian, let's go. Zhang Fengying gestured to Wang Xian and said. But he can't leave. A middle-aged man from the Yin family stared at Zhang Fengying with eyes filled with killing intent. This caused her face to sink instantly. Senior Zhang, Wang Xian has killed Yin Hanhai and the rest. It's normal for Captain Snake Mark to kill him now. That's right, Captain Snake Scar. Kill him quickly. Let's escape quickly. If we are discovered by the wind-winged savage fish, we will be finished. Captain Snake Scar, do you need our help? That's right. He's just a freshman. Captain Snake Scar, kill him quickly. Let's escape quickly. At the side, a group of students from the Demon Hunter College's mercenary group looked behind them and shouted worriedly. They were very worried about the group of wind-winged savage fish behind them. 10 hours ago, they had suddenly encountered a group of wind-winged savage fish and the brocade scale boa, instantly killing more than 30 people. If not for the help of a few transcendent level rank 7 experts, they would have almost been finished. It was also fortunate that there were a few transcendent level rank 7 experts. Fortunately, only 5 people could stand in a row in the narrow passage. Otherwise, they would have been finished. Even so, they suffered heavy losses. After running for the next 4 hours, they met Snake Mark and the rest. Snake Mark and the rest had 8 transcendent level rank 7 experts. With their help, it was much easier. However, during their escape, there was still a transcendent level rank 7 expert who was accidentally killed. Right now they were filled with fear. This territory of the winged fish was too dangerous. They hoped that Snake Mark and the Yin family members could kill this fellow as soon as possible and escape. Do it. After we do it, let's leave quickly. Snake Mark looked behind and said to the Yin family's powerhouse beside him. Okay. A few middle-aged men from the Yin family knew the severity of the situation. They nodded and a middle-aged man with a long saber instantly slashed at Wang Xian. Zhang Yitian, Xia Homing, Zhang Fengying, and the members of the Amethyst Void Beast saw the middle-aged man's attack instantly, and their expressions changed. That kid is going to die. Hurry up and die. You're wasting our time. The people behind them exclaimed excitedly when they saw the transcendent level 7 powerhouse from the Yin family making his move. Bang! The long saber landed. However, What shocked everyone was that a middle-aged man, holding a golden long sword, directly blocked the long saber beside him. Hee. Wang Xian looked at Snake Mark with a smile on his face. A hint of coldness flashed in his eyes. A powerhouse at level 7 of the supernatural realm. Snake Mark was slightly stunned. His face revealed a look of astonishment. The people behind him were also stunned and filled with astonishment. Even the members of the Amethyst Void Beast and Zhang Fengying and Elder Zheng looked at Ao Jian with astonishment. Weren't they all at level 6 of Transcendence? Could it be that this middle-aged man was hiding his strength? I didn't expect there to be a level 7 of Transcendence next to him. No wonder he could kill our young master. A hint of surprise flashed across the eyes of the middle-aged man from the Yun family. The killing intent in his eyes did not diminish in the slightest. A level 7 of Transcendence. Snake Scar took 2 steps back and stared at Wang Xian. He growled in a low voice. So what if he is at level 7 of Transcendence? Kill him. Kill that level 7 of Transcendence as well. Kid, let me tell you. No matter who you are, you will die if you kill our young master. Another burly middle-aged man held an axe in his hand and hacked at Wang Xian. HMPH, even a Transcendent level 7 powerhouse will die. That's right. There are 7 Transcendent level 7 powerhouses beside Captain Snake. But that Wang Xian is really troublesome. That's right. He's wasting our time. It's best if he dies as soon as possible. When the students at the back saw this scene, their expressions did not look good. The 4 experts of Transcendent Level 7, who were standing in front of them, also did not look good. The longer they stayed here, the more danger they would be in. Everyone kill them as soon as possible. An elder of Transcendent Level 7 said to them. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the group of people who spoke. A mocking expression appeared on his face. Die! The old man who was holding a huge axe in his hand raised it up and slashed at Wang Xian heavily. Chapter 10:17 continued. Bang! The huge axe emitted a thick earthy yellow glow as it hacked heavily at Wang Xian's body. However, what shocked everyone was that another golden longsword was used to block the huge axe, causing everyone's expression to change slightly. Another Transcendent Level 7 powerhouse. It can't be. This. There are actually 2 Transcendent Level 7 powerhouses guarding him. The surrounding students of the Demon Hunters Academy looked at this scene in shock. Their faces were also slightly embarrassed. The more powerhouses that appeared beside Wang Xian, the more time they wasted. Zhang Fengying revealed a surprised expression. Her gaze was fixed on the golden swordfish that was defending against the 2 Transcendent Level 7 powerhouses. Her ocular arts had a very powerful ability to see through a person's strength. She was almost certain that before parting with Wang Xian and the rest, the golden swordfish's combat strength was only at level 6 of the supernatural realm. There might be one that she didn't notice, but now there was another one. How was this possible? Continue. Wang Xian stared at Snake Mark with a mocking expression and said with a smile. What? Snake Mark's face was filled with astonishment. His expression slowly turned ugly. He stared at Wang Xian coldly and gritted his teeth. Go to hell. How dare you be so arrogant after killing our young master? This time, he didn't have to say anything. The remaining 2 experts from the Yun family, who were at Transcendent Level 7, attacked Wang Xian. The 2 of them, one with a saber and one with a sword, unleashed their best attacks and slashed at Wang Xian. Bang! Bang! At the same time, 2 sounds of collision rang out again. Beside Wang Xian, the 2 golden swordfish once again blocked the attacks of the 2 experts from the Yun family. Continue. Wang Xian looked at Snake Mark calmly and said to him. Gulp. Snake Mark couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. He had a bad premonition in his heart. The pupils of the 4 experts from the Yun family, who were at Transcendent Level 7, contracted slightly. They didn't expect that there were 4 experts at Transcendent Level 7 beside Wang Xian. This was completely out of their expectations. The students of the Demon Hunters Academy behind him also shut their mouths. Their eyes were wide open, and their faces were filled with shock. Their eyes flickered, and they didn't speak again. Even the few level 7 supernatural realm experts from before didn't speak. Continue. Wuxia spoke to them. Snake Scar looked at the other 3 middle-aged men, and the old man beside him. Kill them all. He roared with a slightly ferocious expression. The remaining 3 transcendent level rank 7 powerhouses didn't hesitate at all. They attacked Wuxia with the weapons in their hands. Bang! 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 This time they were still blocked. They were easily blocked. How is this possible? Shihin growled in a low voice. His face was filled with disbelief. 7 underlings of a level 7 extraordinary. How is this possible? In the entire Donghai city, there were not many forces that could send out 7 level 7 extraordinary individuals. Is there more? Wuxia raised his head slightly and stared at Snake Mark. He asked with a smile on his face. Cough, cough, cough. His eyes flickered as he stared at Wuxia. He looked at the 4 golden swordfish beside him who had yet to make a move. He had a bad thought in his heart. Could the other 4 be as well? He didn't dare to imagine it. The students of the Demon Hunters Academy behind him also realized this. All of them widened their eyes. Obviously, they had realized this as well. There were still 4 people beside Wuxia who had yet to make a move. If not, it's my turn. Wuxia said with a smile. Beside him, the long swords in the hands of the other 4 golden swordfish that didn't make a move were emitting a faint golden glow. Wait, the wind-winged savage fish is coming soon. Snake Mark sensed the faint threat from the other 4 golden swordfish and shouted in a hurry. There's no rush. Let's talk after I kill all of you. Wuxia stared at them mockingly. Boom! In an instant, all the golden swordfish started to move. With terrifying strength and a powerful level 7 extraordinary strength, they attacked Snake Scar and the rest. Dodge, dodge. Oh my god, 11 level 7 extraordinary experts this. It's over, it's over. Who would have thought that there were 11 level 7 extraordinary experts beside this freshman? There are 4 more than Captain Snake and the rest. Behind them, when the students saw the sudden outbreak of battle, they hurriedly dodged to the side. Their faces were all extremely unsightly. At this time, if a sudden outbreak of battle occurred, what would happen if the demon beasts and fierce beasts of the winged savage fish and the others chased after them? Everyone's faces revealed anxious expressions. Commander Zhang, Commander Xiahou, let's escape first. A young man could not help but say to Zhang Etienne and Xia Homing. However, the 2 of them did not move at all. They looked at the sudden outbreak of the battle in shock. This made their faces extremely ugly. They could not leave, nor could they stay here. With their strength, if they were to leave alone and were discovered by the demonic beasts, they would definitely be killed. Kill, kill. Snake Mark's face was filled with fear. He roared and the 10 or so rank 6 transcendents behind him braced themselves and charged forward. However, just as one of the rank 6 transcendents charged forward, a golden swordfish pierced through his chest and let out a blood-curdling scream. Snake Mark could not help but retreat, his eyes looking like they were about to split open. He had never expected that a prey that was like a lab rat in his eyes would burst out with such terrifying strength. Even he might die here. This caused him to be filled with fear. However, after only 10 seconds, 3 more blood-curdling screams were heard. A level 6 transcendent was no match for a level 7 transcendent. Furthermore, there were 11 level 7 transcendent experts. Merciless stabbed the heart. The golden swordfish let out a low growl and instantly cast their divine abilities in unison, attacking Snake Scar and the others. Axe Shield. Dark Slash. The 11 level 7 transcendent experts suddenly cast their divine abilities in unison, causing everyone's expressions to change drastically. They hurriedly resisted. A unified divine ability. Could it be that they are cultivating a unified Sword Dao inheritance? Behind them, A rank 7 extraordinary expert revealed a shocked expression when he saw the 11 golden swordfish using the same divine ability. Assassin inheritance, sword Dao inheritance, saber art inheritance. This meant that cultivating a fixed divine ability at every stage was far more difficult for cultivators than ordinary cultivators. However, once they cultivated a complete inheritance, their strength would be much stronger. The golden swordfish had the bloodline of the divine dragon and cultivated the golden dragon transformation. The golden dragon transformation was equivalent to a complete inheritance, allowing them to comprehend the unity of the divine dragon. Whether it was attack power or destructive power, they were all at the peak. This was also one of the conditions for the golden swordfish to be able to fight above its level. Chapter 10:18. Let's stop. Ah! Screams rang out once again in the cave. Everyone's expressions changed drastically. Looking at the cold faces of the golden swordfish in the cave, they could not help but shiver. It was too terrifying. Be it combat techniques or divine abilities, they were not something an ordinary rank 7 transcendent could compare to. They were as calm as machines, the golden swords in their hands carrying a special energy. 11 divine abilities, in an instant, caused all the rank 6 experts to die. Even a rank 7 transcendent was heavily injured, falling to the ground in fear. Seeing this scene, Snake Scar's face was extremely pale. He, who had always been high and mighty, felt the threat of death. He couldn't help but retreat backward. Wuxia glanced at the people in the battle indifferently and looked at Snake Mark. When their eyes met, Snake Mark's expression changed instantly. His eyes revealed a terrified expression. Stop quickly. I have already passed the news to the Yin family and our family. If you dare to kill us, the Yin family and the Snake family will not let you off. Snake Scar's face was a little pale. There was no trace of his usual arrogance. He pointed at Wuxia and could not help but retreat backward. Wuxia smiled and did not say anything. He just watched the battle quietly. 11 level 7 transcendents against 6 level 7 transcendents. It was almost a 2-on-1 battle. It was a completely crushing battle. Help us and help us deal with them. After we leave safely, the Yin family and the Snake family will definitely give you a huge sum of money to help us. When he saw Wuxia looking at them with a smile, he shouted at the 4 level 7 supernatural realm experts behind him with a flustered expression. When the 4 level 7 supernatural realm experts heard what he said, their expressions changed slightly. The 4 of them looked at each other and looked at the arena. There were 6 level 7 supernatural realm experts in the arena. If the 4 of them attacked, it would be 11 against 10. Although they couldn't threaten them, it was enough for them to protect themselves. Moreover, if the 4 of them attacked, Wuxia might not dare to attack again. The 4 of them were hesitant. Once they attacked, they would definitely offend that young man. As long as you guys attack, each of you will get a transcendent level 7 weapon and armor. Snake Mark gritted his teeth and shouted loudly when he saw their hesitation. 7th rank weapon and armor? Their eyes were filled with fervor. 7th rank weapon and armor. These 2 treasures were worth 40 to 50 million mid-grade spirit stones. With their strength, 80 to 90 million mid-grade spirit stones, close to 100 million, was a huge fortune. Zhang Fengying and Elder Zeng looked at the 4 transcendent 7th rank experts and frowned. All right, Commander Snake, don't forget your promise. The 4 experts gritted their teeth and spoke. Don't worry, I Snake Hen, am a man of my word. Everyone here can bear witness. Snake Hen gritted his teeth, his expression ugly as he nodded. Taking out 8 Type 7 transcendent weapons was not something the Snake Clan could afford to take out in one go. However, their lives were more important at this moment, not to mention that the Yin family had to share the burden. All right, let's do it. The 4 transcendent level rank 7 powerhouses nodded their heads heavily. They looked at Wuxia and said, Everyone, let's stop here. You can't do anything to them if we join in. The 4 of them took a few steps forward, and held their weapons tightly as they warned Wang Xian. Hehe. When Wang Xian saw the four of them walking over with a face full of warning, a hint of mockery appeared on his face. Let's see then. If you don't die today, it will be us who will die. I want to see if I can do anything to you. You, the four of them, who were at Transcendent Level 7, had a slight change in expression. They didn't want to make a move either. They wanted to settle this peacefully and obtain their weapons and armor. This was what they wanted to see the most. However, the other party had no intention of stopping at all. Hurry up and make a move. An expert from the Yin family saw that they were still hesitating. Chapter 10:19, to save his life? How? How is this possible? How did he kill that powerhouse with a single strike? Impossible, this is impossible. When Snake Mark saw this scene, his body couldn't help but tremble as he stared at Wang Xian in shock. That powerhouse must have been careless. The weapon in Wang Xian's hand is very powerful. It should be. The balance has been broken. What's next? The students at the back said in shock. The balance has been broken. Wang Xian had two more extraordinary level 7 experts. These two experts could join forces and defeat Snake Mark, and the rest one by one. Before long, those extraordinary level 7 experts from the Yin family would be finished. Everyone in the Amethyst and Void Beast mercenary group watched this scene, with an indifferent expression on their faces. They knew Wang Xian's strength. He was an expert at level 7 of the supernatural realm. In fact, at the beginning, the balance was already out of balance. It was just that Wang Xian didn't make a move. Now that he had made a move, the end of Snake Mark and the rest was coming. Take care of them quickly, Wang Xian said to the group of golden swordfish. Yes, the group of golden swordfish responded. The two golden swordfish that were free instantly attacked an expert from the Yin family. The expert was horrified when he saw the two golden swordfish attacking him. He was no match for them in a 1-on-3 fight. Go to hell. Sword extinction. The two golden swordfish snorted coldly, the golden swords in their hands emitting an aura of extinction as they charged towards him. The trembling golden swordfish's attacks became much more violent. The expert from the Yin family did not have the slightest ability to resist, and instantly fell to the sword. Not good. It's over. The expressions of the four experts who had just joined changed drastically, and their pupils could not help but shrink. We are not involved in this matter. We are not involved either. This has nothing to do with us. The four of them were horrified. They shouted loudly and retreated backward. Wang Xian glanced at them coldly, and did not order the golden swordfish to stop them. The four powerhouses retreated. There were only 4 left in the field. The gap was more than double. Snake Scar's face was extremely pale. His eyes were filled with despair. When the 4 people who retreated saw that they didn't resist, they heaved a sigh of relief. They stood in front, and looked at Wang Xian, and the rest with fear. In less than 10 seconds, the last 4 experts who were at Transcendent Level 7 were killed. You can't kill me. You guys can't kill me. When Snake Mark saw all the experts he brought with him lying on the ground, he couldn't help but retreat backward. He growled in a low voice with a face full of fear. Wang Xian looked at Snake Hen, and a hint of a smile appeared on his face. He walked over slowly and asked, "Hasn't your young master's mercenary group been trying to kill me? What happened now?" No, we were wrong. Please spare my life." When Snake Hen saw Wang Xian walking over, he begged for mercy in a low voice with a pale face. Behind him, when the students of the Demon Hunters Academy saw Snake Hen's appearance, a complicated look appeared on their faces. Snake Mark had founded the Demon Hunters Academy's Young Master Mercenary Group, which was ranked at the top. His strength was incomparably powerful in the Demon Hunters Academy. In the entire academy, no one dared to provoke him. Which student wouldn't give him face if they met him? However, looking at his now pale face begging, Everyone felt a little dazed. This was still the Academy's influential figure, and now he was actually begging for mercy from a new student. If the students in the Academy knew about this, their jaws would drop in shock. Is that possible? Wuxia waved his hand. A golden swordfish appeared in front of Snake Scar instantly. The long sword in his hand went straight into Snake Scar's chest. Cough cough, I don't want to die. He widened his eyes and looked at Wuxia with eyes filled with regret. Because of Wuxia, because of a freshman, he actually walked towards death. Regret, a strong sense of regret. If he had known this would happen, he would never have provoked this fellow. Bang! Snake Scar's corpse fell to the ground. The sound that was produced rang in everyone's mind. The surroundings instantly fell silent. Everyone's faces were filled with fear. They looked at the corpses of the strong ones around them. Their foreheads were filled with cold sweat. Hoo. At this moment, the sound of wind whistling could be heard from the tunnel. Not good. Everyone's expression changed drastically. Even the expressions of the 4 rank 7 experts also changed drastically. The wind-winged savage fish demonic beast and the brocade scale BOA are here. Run quickly, or we'll be finished. Run seniors, let's run quickly. In an instant, everyone panicked and shouted loudly. Everyone in the Amethyst and Void Beast mercenary group also had a drastic change in expression. Commander Wang, that group of demonic beasts and ferocious beasts are chasing us. Among them, there are 20 existences at Transcendent Level 7. Let's run quickly. Zhang Fengying quickly said to Wuxia. Follow me, don't worry. Wuxia looked behind him. As expected in his line of sight, more than 100 demonic beasts were rushing over aggressively. All right. Zhang Fengying took a deep look at the group of golden swordfish beside Wuxia and nodded her head heavily. Elder Zheng, Xia Homing and the rest also heaved a sigh of relief. With Wuxia around, their safety could still be guaranteed. Commander Wang, can we come with you? A student from the Demon Hunter College heard Wuxia's words, and his expression changed slightly. He quickly asked him. His words made all the students from the Demon Hunter College around him look at Wuxia with a hopeful expression. Commander Wang, we are all students from the Demon Hunter College. If we can help our classmates outside, we will help. What do you think? One of the leaders of the mercenary group continued with a smile on his face. Even the 4 extraordinary level 7 powerhouses were looking at Wuxia with anticipation. When he saw the group of people looking at him, Wuxia smiled. His smile was filled with mockery. You guys? What does it have to do with you guys? What does your life and death have to do with us? He looked at everyone mockingly. The faces of the young men from the Demon Hunters Academy changed slightly. They looked extremely embarrassed. Captain Wuxia, please. Seeing that we are all students from the Demon Hunters Academy, please help us this time. That's right. We are all students. When we return to the Academy in the future, you can come and look for us if you need anything, Captain Wang. If it really doesn't work out, we can take out the spirit stones. I hope that student Wuxia can help us get through this difficult time. All the students hurriedly said to Wuxia. The people from the Amethyst and Void Beast mercenary group looked at them and turned to Wuxia in silence. Wuxia's gaze swept across all of them and followed closely to the passage. The wind-winged savage fish and the Jinlin boa have arrived. I wonder how many of you will be able to survive. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.